TikTok time for a bunch of people to cry. Like little babies, little crybaby babies crying all day. Where you at? Guys, if you had any clue what kind of technical problems we have before every single show, you would wonder how we go live at all. At all. And it's weird because it's like, what just happened never happened. It's like always something new, too. Like you figure out how to troubleshoot one thing and then other weird stuff happens. Funny stuff. What is this? Hang on, just reading the comments. So curious to see where this goes next. Lol, the suspense is killing me. That's what Willy Wonka said. You remember that?
No, actually, I don't. It's been a few years since I saw that movie, but I don't remember that particular line.
I'm trying to think what that. I remember him saying it. I remember him saying the suspense is killing me. I think it's when Augustus Gloop. He was the hefty German boy. He got stuck in the tube, and I think it was when he said the pressure is building all around. The suspense is killing me. Anyway, then it shoots him out like a gun. Anyway, that was back in the day, way back in the day. So let's see, what do we got here? From Shakespeare, no cat human today. No. We started off with too much cargo, so we got rid of Benedict Arnold, ladies and gentlemen. No, guys, we just wanted to update everyone. Wanted to keep everyone updated because it's not over. The hijab, Ali Dawa, secret hotel wives, scandal, that's all that information. It's not over, guys. It's not over. There's more stuff that's going to come out. So we want to keep everyone updated as we go through everything. So today, we've got a new video from Behind Veils. So Behind Veils has been, well, they've done a really, really good job, of going through everything and exposing everything. And I'm not sure anyone else could have pulled that off to the extent that they did. Because, I mean, you had on the hijab side, they were like faking. They were like photoshopping screenshots and using AI generated fake confessions and stuff like that. It's hard. And their followers would all just mindlessly believe everything they put out there. You see, she's been exposed. She's a liar. You see. And they would just believe every single thing that these guys put out. And anyway, the Behind Veils guys, they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And now everyone with a drop of common sense knows what's going on here. Meanwhile, hijab. Oh, hang on. Shannon Draper, habitual complainer about everything we say. Even found something to complain about here. David, your context was correct, but Willy Wonka said the suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. Then he ate a piece of candy. Okay. All right. Saw it when I was a kid. You can't hold me accountable for not remembering every single detail accurately from when I was a kid. Willy Wonka, ladies and gentlemen. I remember we watched it in 3rd grade. Our teacher showed us Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. What were we talking about?
I think we were talking about Behind Veils and the job they've done.
Oh, yeah. They're doing a bang-up job. Just in case, for anyone who's new. So basically what we got, guys, we've got a new Behind Veils video. It's short, but it's kind of leading up to their more detailed response to Ali Dawa. So we want people to go through that. And Thaddeus interviewed Mohammed Hijab's ex-wife. Well, one of Mohammed Hijab's ex-wives, the one who is kind of the whistleblower on what's going on behind the scenes there. But Thaddeus, why don't you go ahead? For anyone who's new here, most people are familiar with a bunch of this, but for anyone who's new, why don't you bring everyone up to date on everything? Just a general rundown of everything that's happened to get them up to the point of the stuff we're about to watch.
So about 2 years ago, Mohammed Hijab took an additional wife. We often say second, but we don't really know that. He could have had more than two for sure. It wasn't the first time he'd done it either, but he took a new wife. He promised her full rights, financial provisions, spending time with her, being involved in her life. And then as soon as the ceremony happened, the nikah took place, he immediately began to change the terms and quickly revealed that he was interested in a hotel marriage, his words, a sex-only marriage, again, his words, a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. He was not interested in even what I would consider a sham marriage, but it would be a real marriage in Islamic terms. He wasn't interested in that. Aisha, the woman that he married, or at least the alias she goes by, was not interested in that. She told him no, that this isn't what we agreed to, and they were quickly divorced. She felt that she'd been mistreated. She felt that she had been tricked and deceived, and she wanted other women to know that the Dawa guys were doing this kind of stuff. So she kept trying to get help from Muslims, spent well over a year with people just rejecting her. And in her words, hundreds of scholars rejecting her, not being, some saying like being sympathetic, others just saying that hijab's in the right, but no one being willing to speak against hijab publicly. She eventually found the people that run a channel called Behind Veils, Salman being the lead of that. They did a thorough investigation, spent 6 months investigating it, and decided to go public after approaching Mohammed Hijab in private and saying, can we resolve this in private? And him basically trying to deny everything, saying that I never even met this woman. I have no idea who she is. And then once he was confronted that he definitely knew who she was, he's like, oh yeah, she's a stalker. She's just out to get me. And then when they confronted him on that, his story just kept changing. So they decided the only option was to go public. Published the first video about 3 months ago. Pretty quickly, there was a response that Mohammed Hijab tweeted out was his response, which he has since claimed he has nothing to do with, on a newly created channel called False Accusations UK, which later told us that they're not based in the UK and they have nothing to do with Mohammed Hijab. In that they shared some out of context sound bites from Aisha, tried to paint her as literally insane, a crazy person, perhaps not even a Muslim, faking the whole thing, tried all kinds of different things. Nothing really stuck exactly. Behind Veils kept releasing video after video, bringing more and more evidence as people who were trying to defend hijab kept saying, there's absolutely no evidence against him. When the first video didn't work, he got Ali Dawa to publish a video. Ali Dawa showed a screenshot, which turned out to be fake, which was supposedly proving that Aisha was faking it. He said it was fake, but he said it was faked by Aisha. But because of technical reasons, we know for sure it was faked by someone other than Aisha. Presumably, I don't think Ollie's smart enough. Presumably, it was someone else that actually did the fake, but Ollie's the one who presented it. Behind Veils confronted him on that. Ollie went silent on that particular issue, never mentioned it again. Not Hijab put out a second video. This time, he sought to clear his name by providing a confession from Aisha, which turned out to be an AI-generated fake. The Behind Veils, among others, proved that this was a fake, showed on their videos that it was fake, and they did no further response from Hijab on that. Finally, in the last chapter of the original saga, they revealed that Mohammed Hijab had been blackmailing a sheikh named Sheikh Turane, or Mohammed Turane, to keep him from going public because he had discovered this information. He'd been trying to mediate behind closed doors. To prevent him from talking to Behind Veils, Mohammed Hijab tried to blackmail him. Then that didn't work, obviously. It ended up going public. So Ali Dawa went through with the threat for Mohammed Hijab and revealed the accusations against Sheikh Turane that they had threatened to reveal if he didn't cooperate. After a while, Behind Veils came back with a new video saying, oh, by the way, Ali Dawa is doing the same thing. He is also taking secret second wives and divorcing them when it becomes inconvenient for him.
Shocker.
So that's where we are now.
Shocker, shocker, shocker. And it's kind of messed up. Hijab and Ali Dawah are both narcissists. Hijab will gladly destroy everyone and everything around him in order to rescue himself. Reminds me of it reminds me of certain shows. People who, I mean, it sucks because on the shows it's usually some super smart guy who can manage to get out of all these, like Breaking Bad, right? The Bryan Cranston, Walter White. He would get himself in all these situations, but he was always smart enough to get out of these situations. But it's like destroying everyone around him, everything around him. By the end, I mean, almost everyone is dead or their lives are destroyed and so on. And he's doing this all to get out of the situations for himself. And it doesn't matter who gets hurt or who even dies and so on. He keeps doing it. Hijab, not nearly that smart. But he does share that willingness to destroy everyone and everything around him, including he would throw Islam under the bus. But I mean, think about this. He threw a sheikh under the bus who used to be his teacher. But hey, you're going to back me on this, and you're not going to tell the truth. If you do, I will destroy your entire life and career. And was willing to pull the trigger on that. Then, like his buddy of all buddies, Ali Dawah. I need you to defend me on this. I need you to lie about all these people and everything that's going on. I need you to tell all these lies and get on the bad side of behind veils, knowing these guys do somehow know how to do some careful research into these kinds of matters. And so think about this. Thaddeus, would we... I mean, you can't say with certainty, but do you think we would have ever known about Ali Dawah getting these second wives and so on, and what he's doing if it wasn't for Mohammed Hijab using him and then causing all these problems for him?
No, I don't think so. I think that probably this kind of thing, whether Hijab, Ali Dawah, or other in the scenes, have been going on for years and years. And the women who are taken advantage of, are too embarrassed or too afraid to go public. Who knows how many women they have taken advantage of over their, 10 plus year careers.
Yeah, tons and tons and tons. And we've talked about this many times before. We'll talk about it many times again because it's important to know. It's something that Jordan Peterson has talked about a bunch. But manipulators, psychopaths, narcissists, people with these kinds of traits, they work themselves into situations where they have a bunch of shielding around them for the messed up stuff that they're doing. One of the places to work yourself into is religious institutions, because if you get caught doing something that's messed up, people won't want to expose it because they don't want to hurt the whatever religious institution it is that they love. So we saw this in the Catholic Church. There was abuse going on. And if you find out a priest is abusing someone, do you want to expose this to the entire world? No, because that will make the church look bad. And so you just kind of keep these things quiet and so on. But the problem is then it keeps going on. It keeps going on. So eventually you just have to say, yes, this is going to hurt. Yes, people are gonna use this to make fun of us and so on, but you got to do it anyway because this has to stop at some point. Anyway, you've got people like Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawah and Sheikh Uthman and all these guys, and they see an entire system over here. Hey, look, did you know there's an entire system over there? We can literally bang as many women and girls as we want forever and still be 100% halal. And none of these girls is ever going to say anything because there's a huge power imbalance here. Namely, we have huge channels and we can say whatever we want about them, and people are just going to believe us. And then everyone's going to side with us. And then they're going to say these women are liars and they're grifters and they're insane and they're bad and their reputations will be destroyed completely. They'll never be able to show their faces in the Muslim community ever again because of this. So guess what? No matter what we do to them, they're going to keep their mouths shut. And that is like a narcissist psychopath. That's their dream world. Their dream world. We can do whatever we want. No one can expose us because no one wants to get their lives wrecked. Anyway, that works for a while. Eventually, you run into some people who aren't going to back down from you, and so that's Aisha. And for anyone who doesn't know, Aisha, so as Thaddeus was pointing out, Aisha was trying to deal with this for a while. Went to various Muslim scholars and so on. Was trying to deal with this behind the scenes. People wouldn't help her. Again, Thaddeus pointed this out, but then she's talking to the behind the veils guys. They actually were willing to help her, but keep in mind they had to go through kind of the same thing she did. Namely, they know what's coming at them, right? They know that you've got guys with multiple guys with million-plus follower channels and so on, who are willing to lie, willing to say anything to exonerate themselves, willing to, again, like Photoshop screenshots, make fake AI generated confessions. These guys are willing to destroy lives, right? I mean, Sheikh, you're going to say what we tell you to say, or we will actually destroy your life. They're keeping tabs on everyone, how to destroy their lives, right? This is like this is Epstein level, keeping information on keeping dirt on people, so that if you ever need to control them, you've got that information available and so on. So anyway, Aisha wanted to deal with this behind the scenes, didn't want to embarrass her religion, but she wanted people to know what's going on. She wanted Muslim women to know what's going on in the Dawah world, so that they don't fall for what she fell for. She wanted to make them know these guys do not have your best interest in mind, and they're doing some messed up stuff. Even then, she didn't want Mohammed Hijab exposed for this. She just wanted people to know that this is what's going on, and they tried to destroy her. And that's the real. You see how massively dysfunctional this is, because look, you know, again, you've got the behind veils guys, and you've got the people who follow that channel and so on. But still, if you took most people who are running their mouths about this, it's a lot of people think she's the bad one. And what's she trying to do? She's trying to keep Muslim women from being used and treated like prostitutes. That's it. That's all she's trying to do. She tried to do it behind the scenes and couldn't deal with it behind the scenes. Got in touch with the behind veils guys. They're helping her. But notice, even after they do everything, they expose everything. Like, hands down, there's no way to look through that and not realize that Aisha and behind veils, they're the ones who are right, and the other guys, they're a bunch of evil, lying con men and manipulators. Anyone can see that, and yet she's the bad one. She's the bad one here. And so, but she kept pushing. And behind veils guys, what happened? As soon as they started exposing this stuff, they got attacked. Same thing. You're gonna bring out this dirt on us. We'll accuse you of stuff. And after all of that, she's still the bad one. And it's amazing. Like, what did she do? She fell for hijab's manipulation. Tons of Muslim women would fall for that exact same thing. Hey, I want to marry you. And she agreed. And then she finds out, no, I'm just gonna keep you as a hotel wife, just for sex. I'm not gonna provide for you. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just using you for sex, and that's all you're good for. And if you say one word about it, I'll destroy your life. That's what she had to deal with. And she was willing to face those repercussions. And then behind veils guys, they're willing to face the repercussions. And then, but here's the amazing thing: after it's been exposed completely, the information is all there, the proof is all there. The lying manipulators are still the good guys, and the people who are exposing them and saying do not treat women like prostitutes are the bad guys. And that's how freaking dysfunctional this is. And that's what, we're not Muslims, but we don't believe that people should be treated like that either. And so we're actually in agreement with some of our Muslim friends here. Or what were you about to jump in with?
Yeah, well, so a couple things. I thought it was worthwhile pointing out.
Hey, also, just so you know, Thaddeus, you can jump in anytime.
Yeah, I know.
I always try to warn people, like, I'll just keep running my mouth for 40 minutes straight if you don't cut me off at some point.
Yeah, it was a good monologue. I was going to let it go. But I think it's worthwhile pointing out that she had a relationship with Mohammed Hijab, not a sexual relationship, obviously, with Mohammed Hijab for 3 years before he did the marriage proposal. And there was a lot of manipulation in that, just from what we know in the public record. And I suspect that from the moment he was introduced to her, which was in theory for the purposes of dawah, right? She was involved with or interested in doing dawah. From the very first time that he was introduced to her, he was beginning to evaluate and see, is this a person that could be a potential addition to my harem of women? And so I think he was manipulating the relationship.
Little side note, that is exactly what manipulators do, and that's exactly how they think, right? They're looking for people who are vulnerable in certain ways that you could use to your advantage. I mean, Tate had an entire course on how he called it his PhD test and so on, that there's all these things you're looking for to know that you're dealing with a girl that you can control for the rest of her life. And you're looking for things like, does she have a strong relationship with some father figure or something like that? Does she have this? Those are like Tate's requirements. But keep in mind, from the moment he meets a girl, he's doing these tests to find out, is this someone I can take advantage of? And Hijab, I told you, he's not as smart as like a Walter White, and he actually he picked the wrong one, let's say, because this is a girl who will stand up for herself and she'll stand up for other women. He's looking at her thinking, okay, she's been divorced, she's a single mother. I can actually control her. I can control her, and I can control her for the rest of her life and just turn her into my hotel wife and so on. Wrong. He didn't know the other things to look for. So yeah, Hijab, you got to up your manipulation game, man. Should have learned a little bit more from your hero, Andrew Tate. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, and no, I just wanted to point that out because it's not like he just like met her and then proposed marriage and she head over heels instantly, right? It was manipulated for a long period of time before she even agreed to it. And then, despite Mohammed Hijab's evaluation, he was wrong, right? As soon as he tried to change the terms on her, she was out of there real quick. So, it doesn't like say that, she shouldn't have known better or whatever, right? Some people will say that, right? Some Christians will say that. Most Christians are very sympathetic, but some will say, it's her own fault for trusting Hijab. He's such a nasty person, blah, blah, blah. But he was saying in private, that's just my public persona. I just do that for attention. I'm a totally different person. I'm an excellent husband to my wife, and so on and so forth.
Hey, hold up. That's important. So you're pointing. So everyone who's looking at this situation can see Hijab's a dirtbag here. That's not difficult to see. But there are some people who are going, come on, it's Hijab. How did you fall for that? How did you fall for this? And you're pointing out that Hijab, when he's talking, he's like, hey, when you see me acting like thumping my chest and I'm strong, that's just for show. That's just for show. I'm not really like that. I'm a very warm, loving, caring guy. And they go, see, he's different. He's different. He's different when he's not on camera. I have to point out, guys. I mean, This is not, how can these Muslim women fall for? I've seen women of all kinds. Matter of fact, I've seen one of the most common horror stories I hear wherever I go is from Christian women who were swept off their feet by a Muslim man, and it's the same exact story every time. He treated me like a princess. He told me, hey, interfaith marriages are okay in Islam. I can be a Christian my entire life. The Muslim community will love me. The family's going to treat me. The family's going to treat me like a princess, like a queen my entire life. Everyone's treating me well. They're all showering me with praise, saying how great this is. And then either the moment they move to a Muslim country or the moment she gets pregnant, everything changes. Then the family, no, you need to convert, or you need to agree that this child is going to be raised as a Muslim and that you're going to have no Christian influence on him and so on. And then they realize something's wrong. Wait a minute, this isn't what was told to me. This isn't what I was promised. And then everything breaks down, and then they come to me. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? As if I'm an expert on. Guess what? You're in a messed up situation, and we would look at that and go, I mean, it's not like you couldn't have figured this out based on all the other stories of all the other women who fell for that. But you just, guys, that's how people are when you're attracted to something. This is true of guys too. I've heard it's different stories with guys. It's wow, she seems so great. And then we got married, and then she's crazy. And she turns out to be crazy. And people told me she was crazy, and I wouldn't listen to them. Of course not. You're really attracted to this woman. Of course you weren't listening. Your hormones take over. That's something that happens. So the point is, this is not about one woman falling for something. This is something that happens to people in general. And fortunately, she saw pretty early on what kind of guy she was dealing with, and then Hijab found out what kind of woman he was dealing with. He tried everything that would ordinarily work, everything you could possibly try to silence someone, to get someone to keep their mouth shut. He tried everything. And she still kept coming after him, and still is. So this cool stuff.
And then the other thing I would say that's really important for people to understand is, a lot of people are saying, well, nothing Hijab did is against Islam. It's all halal. And there's definitely an argument, it's kind of on the border of what's acceptable or not in like the actual marriage situation and using deceit there and whatnot. Some Muslims would say that's not acceptable. Others would say it's acceptable. Islam's a religion of legality, technicalities, not morality. So you might be able to get away with that. But what every Muslim who's being honest agrees with is that blackmail is not allowed. That you can't attack a leader in the community and prevent them from revealing true information about you. And yet, no scholar is willing to speak out against that either, right? It's not just that they're all going around and they're saying, well, hijab is in the right Islamically. There's no story here. It's more than that. They are terrified of Mohammed Hijab. They're afraid that he'll come after them next. This is a guy who operates as, in his own words, a gangster, right? He thinks he's like some big, strong guy who controls everything. And well, he kind of seems to be right. A lot of people knew about this before it became public. Now every guy who's any significance in Dawah, I'm sure, is aware of the situation, has heard of it. And yet you see virtually no one willing to say anything at all about the situation, even though it's clearly wrong Islamically, at least in terms of the blackmail.
And after all of this, Aisha does an interview with you, which will get her into more trouble. She'll be even worse. They will use that against her. Shame on you for talking. But think about why, right? Why would she talk to someone like Thaddeus, who's a critic of Islam? Well, she spent all this time actually trying to get Muslim scholars to help her. They would not. They're terrified of Mohammed Hijab, or they agree with him, but they don't want to get involved. She eventually finds Salman and behind the other, what's the other guy's name? What's the other guy's name? There's Salman and Abu something.
Yeah, I'm trying to blank on it as well.
I'm blank. But she finds them. They're willing to help. But guess what? They help. They expose everything, and it apparently changes nothing. It apparently changes nothing, right? Hijab's still doing exactly what he's doing. Ali Dawah's still doing exactly what he's doing. Doesn't hurt them with their followers. Their followers do not care. Ali Dawah, let me go ahead and say it here. Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hijab could turn every single Muslim woman on the planet into a straight up prostitute, and their followers would not care even slightly because they don't care about women. They just don't. They agree with Mohammed and Hijab. These are just our sex toys that we do whatever we want with, and they need to keep their mouths shut about it. Their followers agree. So anyway, point is, you would think that after all this stuff is exposed, that Hijab and Ali Dawah are going to be in trouble, and that they're going to be called to repent and turn away from these their ways, and yet they're not. And so it's a situation where now Aisha talks to Thaddeus. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like the Ummah just wants to sweep this under the rug and move on, as if none of this stuff has been exposed. And hey, we can't call our Dawa guys into question, which means it's still going to happen, right? What was her goal for exposing all this stuff? Keep this stuff from happening to other Muslim women. Stop it from happening again. And it's not. Nothing has changed. Even after it's exposed, people just don't care. And so now she's talking to Christians and so on. Can you guys expose this stuff more?
Yeah, it was definitely, not something she was eager to do by any means. I reached out to her pretty much right as this went public. I reached out several times, was just ignored. And, I reached out a couple more times, and eventually she replied back and was like, I've seen what's going on. I see that no one is paying any attention. I thought the scholars would come out and say that hijab needs to at minimum apologize, right? Even if they're not saying like this is the worst thing in the world, he could at least apologize or something, correct his wrong teachings, because at least from her perspective, there are some questionable teachings that he's been making publicly. And no, silence, absolute silence. And again, I don't think it's just because they all agree with him Islamically speaking that it's okay. I think it's because they're afraid of him, that they're terrified of hijab doing something. And what it tells me is that for most of these guys, it's all just a game. They're not really all that concerned about what Allah thinks about them. They're more concerned about their status here on earth.
And you can kind of see this from Hijab when he's having these discussions, like on Bitter Truth. Hijab's always like concerned, like, what is the bare minimum I am required to do? That's all I care about doing. The absolute bare minimum. What can I do that if I'm ever called on it, I can say, no, I did everything I was required to do. And sounds like this is not. Doing the bare minimum you're required to do in Islam does not equal doing the right thing at all. Like here's
right.
Here's Absolutely. What I'm Islamically obligated to do. And then, I don't care if I screw up people's lives and so on. Anyway, wild stuff. So, guys, we're gonna check out the Behind Veils video, the new one. That's pretty short. Then we're gonna go through Thaddeus's interview. It's under half an hour. We'll probably watch that straight through. Maybe pause it here and there just for a couple comments and stuff. But we'll check that out. Everyone will be up to date.
You say a couple comments, but we all know that you're going to talk a lot.
Yeah, one of us is going to talk a lot. I won't say who, but someone's going to be jumping in there every 5 seconds, just spouting a bunch of stuff. Hang on. All right, let's take these first couple of super chats, and then we'll watch the Behind Veils video. We'll also check out the conference promo for a conference we got coming up later this month, guys, in Ohio. For anyone who wants to be there, it's going to be cool stuff. Got a bunch of presentations, got some debates. Should be good. D-Wood, can you give me some problematic verses in the Quran? My mom does not believe that Islam is violent. Your mom doesn't believe that Islam is violent? Definitely 929. So 929, that's fight those who do not believe in Allah, specifically refers to fighting Jews and Christians. If your mom looks up some terrible Dawah site, they'll say, but fight them. That could mean anything. It could just mean debate them. Sorry. Then go to Surah 9, verse 111, same chapter. Allah explains what fighting in his way is. Slaying and getting slain. So he's not talking about debating there. Surah 48, verse 29. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Those who are with him are severe against disbelievers, merciful among themselves. So you treat people differently. Surah 98, verse 6 says that Jews and Christians are the worst of creatures. Surah 3, verse 110 says that Muslims are the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind. So this is part of the reason why the grooming gangs have no problem treating non-Muslim girls the way they did. So you got those kinds of passages. Surah 65, verse 4 talks about marrying, having sex with, and divorcing and passing on to the next guy, girls, all before they've ever reached the age of puberty. Surah 4, verse 34, you could beat your wives into submission if they're getting out of line. We could go on. That should give you a good start. If you need more. let us know.
Well, I think you should at least highlight 9:5 there. We don't emphasize it as much because it specifically says pagans, but this is the verse that changes everything in Islam, according to the scholars. Surah 9, verse 5, the verse of the sword, is where Muslims are first given the permission to kill in the name of Islam.
Total bloodbath, total bloodbath. And I would say, oddly enough, kind of the worst verse is Surah 33, verse 21. That's the verse that says Muhammad is a pattern of conduct. So that's the verse that opens the door for everything you read about Muhammad in the Hadith. Let's see. D Wood is D goat and not the goat that ate Aisha's Quran. That would have been funny. Hey, there should be some weird movie about Hindus should do this because they believe in reincarnation. Hindus should do a movie about that goat being reincarnated as a human being. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yes, that's perfect.
Hymns of Haim says, I pray for Sister Aisha to be comforted by our Lord during this time. May she experience his peace that surpasses all understanding. Amen.
Amen.
Maybe Momo did, what is this, to Al Zut people and Seaman went out. What is this weird stuff? Come on. People trying to explain stuff and make sense of it. And AP, keep your followers on your own channel, man. They're coming over here saying all this weird stuff on our good, clean, wholesome channel.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Muslims, Sahih al-Bukhari 4428. Yes. Very easy to look up, everyone. My opinion, if you Christianize Surah 114, it'd be a beautiful surah, the best of surahs. There'd be no surah like it. It'd be a beautiful surah, the best of surahs. Sadly, that's one of the surahs that Ibn Masud didn't believe is supposed to be in the Quran. He said it's a prayer. Is that what they mean by whole in the narrative? Whole. I think that could be about Mohammed Hijab, always looking for the bare minimum to do. Mohammed Hijab's forehead is so big he could smoke a cigarette in the rain. Why is everyone being so mean right now? We're trying to focus on the positive. Mohammed Hijab and all that do their hide and seek with humans forgot that God that knows it all. That should speak of their faith. Soon, just an hour left to do their thing. Would they be sorry? They should be. I mean, the amazing part here is these are the Dawa guys who this is the stuff they're doing behind the scenes. I mean, keep them as messed up as it is that they think, non-Muslim girls out there are people we can treat like complete garbage, like the grooming gangs, right? It's as messed up as that is. They have no problem treating Muslim women like prostitutes. These are the Dawa guys. And these are the guys who are constantly lecturing us on how we need their morality. It's like, guys, you have lost. And what's crazy is like the short-term thinking right here, as far as people not wanting to call them out. Oh, we don't want to cause a scene. Oh, this will just cause division. Guys, hijab and Ali Dawa, the bigger they get, the harder you're eventually going to have to deal with these guys, whether you like it or not. And do you want to do that when they have 5 million followers? Because you could have dealt with them when they had 50,000, but you didn't. You said, no, we don't want to cause division. And now they're too big to handle. Now they'll like destroy sheikhs' entire careers and stuff. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you let them get big enough without dealing with it. And so this is still very, very short-term thinking. Like, guys, think 3 or 4 years from now, this will all spread around because we'll make sure it gets spread around. 3 or 4 years from now, what Dawa guy is even going to be able to open his mouth without hearing? I mean, Thaddeus, you saw the video. Ali Dawa can't even go out in public now. Everyone's like, hey, you the Mutta guy? You the Mutta guy? Right? What's this going to be like 3 or 4? What's this going to be like 3 or 4 years from now? Muslims going to come up, hey, you need to convert to Islam because it's a great system. It's going to be like, wait. Let's go down the list. Let's Mohammed Hijab, here's what he did. Sheikh Uthman, here's what he did. Ali Dawa, here's what he did. Daniel Hakikachu, here's all the stuff that he's said and done. It's going to be, you're not going to be able to open your mouths about Dawa ever again because people are going to be like, these are the evil guys. We're not listening to this stuff.
Yeah, real quick, I'm actually covering that video with Mary tomorrow afternoon. So if people are interested in seeing Ali Dawah be called out for being the Muta guy, you can see that video tomorrow afternoon on my channel.
Hey, he should change his channel to Ali Muta. Come on. Ali Dawah, we know the Dawah is all about the Muta. That's what you're trying to. That's the real point of it all. You guys have shown us that. So just change your channel name to Ali Muta. Then how's anyone? We can't even criticize you anymore because then you'll at least be upfront about it.
And then his nickname will still work because Ali needs Dawah, Ali needs Muta. Yep, so checks out.
See, we're giving you great ideas. We're trying to help you guys. We're giving you awesome ideas. Why is Hijab marrying great-grandmothers to begin with? That's beyond even cougar.
Yeah, because, she's a normal-aged adult.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
These guys are obsessed with
something, right?
Yeah, these guys are obsessed with 9-year-olds and stuff like that. But, she's an adult, and so they think of that as like a grandma. My mistake. I get it now. It's, whores in the narrative. That's what they want to, that's what they want to treat people as. Ali Dawah looks like the kind of guy that would watch the men of Al Zoot from behind the Diddy line. Didn't want to go in that direction, but he does look like that. Hi, D-Wood. This other guy is okay. Just kidding. And Islam is an honor, shame-driven pagan culture. It definitely seems like that. And again, we're not Muslims, but every man and woman on this planet is our brother and sister in humanity, at least. And so,
absolutely.
And so if someone's being horribly treated, especially people who don't know, which is the case with women that these guys are going to be trying to pull the same stunt on, and there are people who know and are trying to do something about it. That's like Aisha. We want to help however we can. Hi, guys. In your opinion, if Islam conquers UK or the West, would full Sharia be implemented or would things evolve to be milder? Sorry, off topic. It's a weird situation because the kind of Islam that's spreading rapidly is the, more aggressive, in-your-face, chest-thumping, Salafi type and so on. You could end up in this situation, and just so everyone knows, I don't think Islam's going to take over in Europe. I think I think you'll eventually get some sort of massive war or something like that. Keep in mind, I'm not saying I want that. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to avoid a bloodbath. And you could do that you can expose Islam peacefully by criticism. People, no, you can't. Yes, it does. With a few of us criticizing Islam, you got the avalanche of apostasy. Don't tell us that it doesn't work. If everyone was blasting away at the lies nonstop, Islam would crumble instantly. So anyway, that's what I've been focusing on. Why don't we do it? Why don't we do it peacefully without a bloodbath? But other people, no, never criticize it. Just let it spread and keep doing all the stuff it does. Okay, then you're eventually gonna get a bloodbath. That's what's gonna happen. But anyway, if Islam were to take over like France and the UK and Germany and stuff like that, no, I don't think you get a milder form. I think that you'd get a violent radical form closer to true Islam, but I think that this would be happening while countries in the Muslim world are becoming milder. It's going to be a situation where countries in the Middle East are looking at like Europe and going, "Oh gosh, you guys, that sucks, man. You need to do something about these jihadis over here, man."
Yeah,
they don't put up with it. They don't put up with it down there. If you start going, oh, we're going to impose Sharia. They'll lock you up. They'll lock you up in the Muslim world. Not everywhere in the Muslim world, but the places where they don't put up with that crap, they do not put up with that crap. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll say from the history of Islam, it's inherently unstable, that there's kind of this constant dynamic because people don't actually really like what Islam teaches, but at the same time, they know that this is supposed to be the ideal. So you'll see like this very fundamentalist state rise, and then it will quickly moderate itself and become, more nicer. And then people will be like, hold on, our state's corrupt. And then they'll overthrow it and so on and so forth. It goes through a cycle in Islam. So what you're seeing in the Muslim countries right now, for the most part, is you're seeing that they're moderating themselves. They're becoming secular states. They want to get along with the West. And then you see the people in the West, or in select other places. ISIS rose for a reason, right? Because there's always this constant dynamic of people looking at what Islam teaches and saying, nope, we got to do that no matter what. And people saying, yeah, we tried that. It really sucks. Let's try something different.
If you lived in Epic City as a Jew or a Christian, would they enforce jizya? That would be, see, they don't have their Epic City, but if they did get it, it would be funny to show up and say, hey, what are the jizya fees going to be if I want to move here? It'd be kind of funny and like be recording it. No, we're going to do that, guys. If they ever get an Epic City, we're going to do it. Without lies, Islam dies? No, Islam is very strong. The youngest grandma on record is 17 in a Nigerian harem. Gave birth at 8, as did her child. Possibly all had the same biological father. Disgusting. Yeah, that would be pretty disgusting. All right, guys. One more from Apu. Very informative live stream last night. West Bank. Yeah, good stuff there. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and check out the Behind Veils video. Here we go.
It has now been nearly 3 months since Behind Veils published a groundbreaking expose on Mohammed Hijab. In the weeks that followed, both Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa responded not with transparency or evidence, but with smear campaigns, character assassinations, lies, and most notably, diversions. Their goal was clear: shift the spotlight away from themselves and redirect public attention elsewhere.
That is true. Mm-hmm. For any of you Mohammed Hijab Ali Dawa fans, how did they respond that you find compelling? Was it the photoshopped screenshot? Was it the AI generated fake confession? What was it from these guys that convinced you these are the good guys? Was it how they ruined Sheikh Tarana's life to let him know that speaking out would not be accepted? Was it them blasting away at Aisha? Was it them blasting away with a smear campaign against Behind Veils here? What was it that convinced you? Nope, these guys are right. Because everything they're doing is what a guilty person does. Literally everything they're doing is what a guilty person would do in this situation.
Yeah, and I will say that the vast majority of people who've looked at this, including Muslims, based on the comments on Ali Dawa's channel, for example, who've actually looked at the evidence, have said hijab's obviously guilty. What you need to come clean. Problem is that they have done a good job at keeping it silent. Probably only maybe 5% of hijab's followers are even aware of the situation.
Smart. Evil, but smart.
Yep.
But with the last video exposing Ali Dawa's own secret marriage conducted behind his wife's back with a frequent guest from the Bitter Truth Show.
They even put it up on the screen with a frequent guest from the Bitter Truth Show.
Mm-hmm. Even he narrows it down to 4 women there.
4.
You got 4. Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny. I know who did it. I know who it was. I figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Both Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa have since vanished from the debate, retreating into silence, unable to face the mounting questions and allegations head on. As they've gone into hiding, ducked accountability, and now remain hidden in the shadows, we thought we'd help them out. We've prepared a short list of questions that you, the viewers, can screenshot and directly ask them if you ever happen to cross paths.
This is smart. I kind of listened to this, but I was doing something else, so I kind of missed this part. This is smart. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's saying here's since they're avoiding this, I'm giving you a list of questions to ask them, which is funny because that's what that dude did. He was hey, you the Mutta guy? He didn't ask these particular questions and so on, but he had the same idea, right? Like, hey, if you guys are going to try to ignore this, don't let them ignore it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was actually on Hussein Mashni's channel last night, and we got the chance to talk to a couple Muslims about the situation. And they're like, why don't you go to Speaker's Corner and confront hijab? And I'm like, well, I've talked to the people who go to Speaker's Corner. I'm not in the UK. I can't just go there at random, but I've talked to them, and hijab doesn't seem to be showing up anymore for some reason. I wonder why.
Yeah, and I'm not allowed there anymore, but I was there last year, and these Dawa guys are running like the biggest bunch of cowards the world has ever seen.
Yeah, so Ollie's there, but as soon as you try to bring this up, he just has
He wasn't
his
there. He
minions
wasn't there when
shoo
I
you
was
away.
there. He wasn't there when I was there.
Well, he's at least there some weeks, I think. But regardless, none of the people at Speaker's Corner will talk about it. None of the Muslims who are there, if you try to bring it up, they'll just be like, oh, that's a private matter. I'm not going to talk about it. Or I'm not hijab. I don't know anything. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, whoever you were talking to, they seem like they're under the same delusion that people like back in the day. Oh, why don't you debate Zakir Naik on this? Yeah, like he's willing to debate what we're talking about.
I still get
here.
people who ask
Yeah.
that. Like, why don't you
funny.
debate Zakir Naik? It's like anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, you guys live in a total fantasy world. Yo, just go address this at Speaker's Corner. Wow.
Ducked accountability, and now remain hidden in the shadows? We thought we'd help them out. We've prepared a short list of questions that you, the viewers, can screenshot and directly ask them if you ever happen to cross paths.
You get this, guys? You want to screenshot these questions and you can ask them anywhere. Keep in mind, guys, this is directed towards Muslims. This is for Muslims to be asking these guys. But we'll go ahead and say it here. Anyone can ask these questions, especially on, Twitter, in the comment section of their videos, all over the place. You can ask these same questions. So you don't have to actually run into these guys on the street. You can ask these from anywhere via social media. You can even post things and say, hey, I have a question for Mohammed Hijab, and if he doesn't want to answer, can his fans answer? And then a question. But let's see what the questions are.
Whether it's on some faraway remote island, at the next Sapiens Institute event, or maybe even at the Speaker's Corner. Mohammed Hijab, are you willing to take an oath and engage in a mubahala, swearing by Allah that you never entered into a marriage with a sister known publicly as Aisha?
Do you even mubahala, bro?
He's 6'8". How dare you challenge him to mubahala?
Hey, isn't it funny? This guy's left and right. Oh, let's do mubahala. Let's do mubahala. One woman comes up, says, "Hey, I'm your ex-wife. If I'm lying, let's do mubahala and see." And he runs and hides, like the biggest coward in the world.
And gets Ali to defend him. Ali to defend him by saying, "Yo, he's too big and strong. He can't do mubahala. This is ridiculous."
Yes, he's too tall. He's too tall to do mubahala.
Other duat viciously to mubahala in the past, yet when she challenged you, you've remained pin drop silent. Did you have any involvement, direct or indirect, with the False Accusations UK YouTube channel?
So, guys, that's the channel where they posted the AI fake confession and stuff like that with a robot voice. Everybody loves the robot voice, which everyone who heard it pointed out, this sounds exactly like Mohammed Hijab, just with a robot voice.
And the 2 AI narrated videos posted there? What do you have to say about the AI-generated deepfake voice used in the False Accusations UK video to impersonate Sister Aisha? Given that the channel openly claimed to have worked with you, and considering the voice clip was forensically proven to be fabricated, do you deny involvement, or will you finally address the use of this criminal and deceitful tactic? Did you blackmail Sheikh Mohammed Toro?
What's up?
So really important there. So in the first video, they didn't mention it here, so I think it's worth mentioning that Mohammed Hijab tweeted out, in a few minutes, I'm going to release my response to accusations made against me. Then he sends out another tweet, here's my response. Then later in another tweet, he says, in my previous response, I said this. And now he's saying that it has nothing to do with the channel. The first video, there was no indication whatsoever that it wasn't Mohammed Hijab. Well, I guess he wanted to distance himself because he's getting into criminal territory. So in the second video, they open up and they're like, let's make one thing clear. This channel has nothing to do with Mohammed Hijab. Yes, we talked to him and got evidence from him, but this channel has nothing to do with him, nor are we based in the UK at all. And the name of the channel is False Accusations UK.
Guy, everyone get all that? It's like, this is what I mean. He's not Walter White here with all this stuff. Even the plans he came up with. You remember, like, at the beginning of this year when he found out Aisha was going to be coming out and accusing him publicly, then he goes on this, I've been contacted by someone who works with Elon Musk, and he's informing me that I will be silent about Elon Musk, or they will falsely accuse me of something. It's like, why don't you share that? You've got it. They sent you a message. Share the message, man. So anyway, this is like pathetic. This is like, it's so amateurish and stupid. You're giving manipulators a bad name with all this stuff. So that was his big plan. He was going to, he was trying to be like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, anytime someone would accuse him of stuff that he's admitted to doing for years, and they accuse him, they say, "Oh, I'm being attacked by the Matrix because of my empowering message to young men. They don't want me empowering young men to get Bugattis. And so the Matrix is attacking me." And all his fans, "Oh, the Matrix is attacking him." But anyway, I mean, Hijab did like the exact same thing Tate did, right? So Tate, he found out all the stuff that he'd been bragging about doing for years. He eventually was told by his lawyer, you know that's illegal, right? Everything you said you're doing with this, that is textbook lover boy method of sex trafficking. You've been shouting it from the rooftops that you've been doing it, and now you're being investigated. That's when he came out. You know what the Matrix is going to do? They're going to arrest me. They're going to arrest me for my empowering message. And then he actually gets arrested because he knew it was coming. And all his fans, "Oh my goodness, he said he was going to be arrested because of the Matrix. It's true, you see?" And then Hijab saw this and did the same thing. It's because of my relentless attacks on Elon Musk that he's going to spend billions of dollars framing me for having a secret mutter wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then it happens. And I've seen his fans. "Oh my goodness, he predicted this would happen. This is Elon. Elon's behind this." Like, some people deserve to fall for this if they're willing to fall for that kind of nonsense. It's like, get used to, if you are falling for what Hijab said about Elon Musk, you're that level of stupid. Get used to spending an entire life of being duped by manipulators, because that's all that's ever going to happen. You're what manipulators would consider a soft target. You're easy to manipulate. By the way, that's Tate. That's what's at the heart of Tate's PhD test. You're looking for soft targets, not hard targets. Hard targets are hard to manipulate, or they will eventually catch on and they will destroy you if they find out you've been manipulating them. So you don't want to mess with those people. Hijab thought Aisha was a soft target. She actually is a hard target, and she's messing him up right now. Look at this list so far, though. Lied about marrying Aisha, makes an entire YouTube channel, then like an idiot talks about it being him, and "Hey, I'm about to release this, and here's my new thing," and then realizes, "Oop, I'm actually could be sued over all the misrepresentations and lies in there." So then, "Oh, look, this got nothing to do with me. It's like, you can make a movie out of how stupid this dude is with all this stuff. And then does the AI deep fake, which was exposed, and then got exposed for blackmailing a sheikh who used to be his teacher. "I'm your teacher, boy." Yeah, what'd you do to your teacher?
Issuing a midnight deadline for him to retract his testimony and send you a public apology. If you deny these actions, why have you never responded publicly to Sheikh Torana's detailed statement describing your threats, intimidation tactics, and abuse of Dawah networks to silence him? If Sister Aisha allegedly fabricated everything, why haven't you pursued legal action? Why rely instead on vague denials and targeted smear campaigns? Adi Dawah.
You get that as far as Mohammed Hijab, guys? He threatens to sue everyone. I mean, he went after Tommy Robinson, freaked out Tommy because he got this stuff delivered to his house and so on. But if you can't just walk up and say, "Hey, I'm this guy's ex-wife," and start talking about all the stuff he's done to someone like Hijab. Hijab would sue her instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And yet nothing.
And I would say that Hijab would have a case, right? If everything he says is true, that she's a crazy stalker.
Yeah, you can't just say, "I'm this person's ex-wife," and then make up a bunch of stories.
And yet there doesn't seem to be interest in even talking about it, let alone pursuing legal charges. In fact, Aisha has said that let's do this in court, and behind veils they said let's do it in court if you need to, right? Any way you can do this. You can do it Islamically through the council. You can do it through a mubahala. You can do it as a live stream. That's also an offer that behind veils said. They said let's do a live stream, get everyone on here, and just talk it all out. And no hiding. Everyone's here. It's live. You can't hide anything. No. Or take it to court. Take it to court. And actually, Aisha's looking into that. And there's a fundraiser for that purpose, which is in the video description. But any option whatsoever available to hijab. One side is like, well, we can solve this any way you want, and then the other side's like,
Everyone getting that? So suppose Sister Aisha was just a crazy woman, so this is what they're insisting. She's just a crazy woman pretending that she's Mohammed Hijab's ex-wife. What would be the normal route to deal with something like that would be like take her to court, and then an additional Islamic method would be a mubahala. Those are the two things hijab won't touch. Mm-hmm. Instead, he does everything that a guilty person would do.
Yeah, and not even directly, right? He doesn't even directly deny anything. Like, he's so weak that he won't even come out and say these things firsthand. And I suspect it's because there's enough people who actually know the truth that if he's denying it in his own voice, he'd lose respect. So he won't deny it in his own voice.
Or he thinks, hey, if I do it in a robot voice, then it can't be used against me in court or something like this.
Yeah, well, he might be that stupid, but
yeah,
it's not true.
Given you wouldn't think that he's that stupid, but if you didn't know anything about him, but once you see that Elon Musk has sent me a message. No, Elon Musk, someone who works with Elon Musk has sent me a message saying that they will frame me for something if I do not stop my relentless attacks on Elon Musk. Like, seriously, dude? And think of his partner, Ali Dawa. Oh, you know what would be a great idea for this debate? What if I have someone dangling grapes in my mouth the entire time? Oh, wouldn't that be good? That will really impress my followers. That's how smart they are. You're dealing with some tactical geniuses here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so these are the questions for Mohammed Hijab. Hopefully you screenshotted those. Good questions to ask.
Ali Dawa, did you collaborate with Mohammed Hijab in the preparation or promotion of his response videos?
Yes, 100%.
Are you aware of who runs the False Accusations UK channel?
Yes, he is.
Do you truly and firmly believe that no nikah ever took place between Mohammed Hijab and the sister?
He'll deny it, but
Why do you refuse to apologize for spreading fabricated evidence, including accusing Sister Aisha of doctoring a message that was later forensically verified to have been maliciously faked in an effort to frame her?
Well, in Ali Dawa's defense, he is a compulsive liar.
Not sure that's a defense.
No, I'm just saying, if you're a compulsive, like, what are you expecting a compulsive liar to do? It's compulsive. He can't help himself. He has to lie. So it's like, Ali Dawa, have you decided to tell the truth? He's a compulsive liar. Of course he's not going to decide to tell the truth.
Why are you silent about your own secret?
What's that?
I was just going to say, and he tells on himself all the time in his videos, right? Yeah. Because he's also very lazy and he doesn't do much editing. So
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the next episode of The Bitter Truth. And they'd be like, so we've got a question. Suppose a Muslim man was to get some secret behind the scenes mutta wives, and then one of those wives was mad that we was treating her like a prostitute, yeah? And then we tried to silence her, but she keep coming at us, yeah? And then what if we tell all kinds of lies to discredit her and we use a fake AI generated confession, but then it gets exposed? All this hypothetical stuff, we're just going to try and get to the bottom of it to see how we wiggle out of this from an Islamic perspective, yeah? All right, and my main guest here is Mohammed Hijab. I'm just waiting for that, right? Because people don't understand. They're like talking about all this messed up stuff they do about their secret second wives and all this stuff and all the situations they're allowed to lie in. And they're doing, that's what it's like. Andrew, it reminds me of Andrew Tate. That's the closest parallel. A guy who's talking about all the stuff he's done And then when he's called on it, well, I never did any of that stuff. It's like the same exact thing. What did Ali Dawah, when you guys were talking about secret second wives and hijab was talking about 85% of the Dawah guys, they're doing polygamous marriages and all this. Did you think we were thinking all this is like hypothetical? And you guys aren't doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Marriage conducted behind your wife's back while publicly promoting yourself as a man who has nothing to hide. Do you believe it is religiously and morally upright to divorce a woman only after your first wife discovers the secret marriage?
Look at all this. Those last two there. Because it was kind of funny in the last video, he did present it as like questions. Oh, have you ever, he asked it as questions. He didn't actually say it. But here, why are you silent about your own secret marriage behind your wife's back? And keep in mind, that's one we know about. He could have 150 secret marriages behind the scenes, right? Because these guys can marry a girl, use her, divorce her, get another one, have 4 at a time, and things like that. Interesting. Why are you silent about your own secret marriage behind your wife's back? That's important. These guys are keeping secret second wives because they keep getting first wives who are letting them know, we don't want you to have second, third, fourth wives. So they're making sure they know that. And so what do? Okay, we'll just keep it secret from you. We don't have to tell you. We're allowed to lie. If you have a problem with it, that's on you. You're a bad wife if you have a problem with it. Therefore, that's on you. You can watch his video on this. He flat out blamed women. If you have the problem with us marrying additional women, how do you not see that you're at fault and you're the reason that we lied to you and we keep the secret second wives? That was their entire case. But yeah, I mean, go ahead.
As I said, we always knew on the Bitter Truth that they were like telling on themselves to some degree, at least their desires, right? But when you rewatch it now, knowing everything, it's like, oh, like literally every single thing Hijab says, he's describing himself. He's describing his wife. Like when he says, if you hypothetically have a wife who's trying to control you and won't allow you to get a secret second wife, or he won't allow you to get a second wife legitimately, then you got to take one in secret. Because those kind of women, they just get their claws in you and they manipulate you until you're doing what they want you to do. So it's just weird how obvious every single sentence Hijab says, and to a lesser degree Ali Dawah says in this, is them telling on themselves.
And here's what's crazy. I mean, we've talked about this before. The main reason Hijab has to keep this quiet, it's not for the Ummah. If it was the Ummah, he could say, "What? I had a secret second wife. So what? I've defended my right to have a secret second wife." All the stuff that he's saying, like you know. Apart from like, there are certain things that he would not be able to defend, like blackmailing Sheikh Tarana and so on. But most of the stuff he could just say, yeah, so what? What are you going to do about it? The reason he has to keep this quiet is because his first wife found out about one of his secret marriages and left him for a while with the kids. And so he had to, okay, I swear by Allah, I will never do this again. I will swear by the great God Allah, I will never do this again. Which even when he was saying that, like we would know, wait a minute, Muhammad said you can break oaths like that. It's Allah said he could. Surah 66 verses 1-2. Read the background. This is when Muhammad got caught having sex with his slave girl in his wife Hafsa's bed. She comes home early. She's mad. Now, they knew that he was allowed to have sex with a slave girl. They didn't like it happening in their beds. Like he's rolling around with a slave girl in the bed that this other wife sleeps in. She didn't like that, right? So Muhammad swears an oath, I will never have sex with that woman again. I will never have sex with her again. Then he gets a message from Allah. Hey, you know that oath you swore to your wives you're not going to have sex with. You just go ahead and have sex with her. Go ahead and keep having sex with her. So Hijab is the sort of guy who would have that in his head. I can tell my wife I'm never gonna do this again. Then I can just go out and do it because Allah's fine with it. Allah's fine with us breaking our oaths like this, right?
Not only does he have it in his mind, he literally brings up that exact story in the Bitter Truth episode and says, a lot of scholars say it's about, some food, but other scholars will tell you that it's about well, I'm not going to go into details, but it's about Muhammad's relationship with, and then he's like, and then like he goes and says, see, the point of this hadith is to show you that under some circumstances, it's okay to lie to your wives. And then he said, and then Ali Dawah's like, white lies. And he's like, no, black lies. This is not an Islamic concept, right? There's no difference. Lying is lying. There is no difference between, a white lie that's, you look pretty in that dress or something. And, a black lie. Oh, I don't have a secret second wife. I was on a Dawa vacation the last week when I wasn't here. When in fact they were just in a hotel room with the woman that they just quote unquote married for a week's time.
Everyone getting this? So the reason hijab has to go to these kind of lengths with a fake confessional, it's not about just tricking the ummah. He has to trick his wife. No, this isn't happening again because he knows his wife will leave him, right? But it's the same thing with Ali Dawah. So we've seen Ali Dawah's wife in video. She's the one communicating using a dry erase board. But apparently she doesn't want Ali Dawah having second, third, fourth wives either. And that's a red line for her. And so he has to keep it a secret. And yet, because of his defense of Mohammed Hijab, he's been exposed for this. And now he's got people walking up to him on the street. Hey, you the mutta guy? You the mutta guy? Imagine being the wife of the mutta guy, a guy who's known as the mutta guy. Right? You're the wife. You're the wife who got this guy to agree, okay, no extra wives, and your husband is now publicly known as the mutta guy, Ali Mutta.
One other thing.
Little side note. I think we should start calling him Ali Mutta officially.
Yeah.
Ali Mutta.
I think that definitely
Ali
works.
Mutta. Okay.
So in that interview, the same interview where the 85% are doing this comes from, there's another segment where they're talking about finances. And Daniel's like, oh, here in America, it's really crappy. Women have rights, blah, blah, blah. And Hijab's like, just don't actually marry him. Just do it Islamically and don't register it legally. So
I saw that. He's going, he's saying how could they prove it? If you go into court and she says he married me, and I say, what? Show me, prove that. And all that happened was it's done over Zoom or something. How are you going to prove anything?
And then Daniel's like, well, it's not that simple. There's common law marriages, whatever. And Hijab's like, well, that's terrible, right? But there's ways. I myself, right? I legitimately married my first wife under the law, but I have ways. I have ways to keep my finances secure against her. And they're just openly talking about this in public, how they've set up these scam relationships, these scam financial instruments to protect their wealth against their wives, against what the law provides their wives are allowed to access, in other words.
Wonderful, guys. Tell us more about your awesome religion, guys, because you're really making us... I mean, who would this appeal to? Guys who are absolute scumbags, that's who this would appeal to. Oh, really? You mean there's a religion out there where I could just go and I can talk about killing and slaughtering, and I can talk about banging everyone. We can talk about marrying little girls, and we can all pass around wives left and right. Well, sign me up. Who's this appealing to?
Certainly not women.
Given that I publicly took an oath denying the false allegations you relayed from Dunya, accusing me of committing zina during our marriage and being physically abusive, are you willing to issue a public apology and accept the Islamic punishment for slander, including the prescribed lashing as outlined in the Quran? Or will you continue to slander without consequence while claiming to uphold Islamic values? And finally, why are you, along with your buddy Mohammed Hijab, so scared to accept my invitation to join a live stream and take an oath regarding these matters, especially when I accepted your challenge? You barked the challenge like a lion, but the moment I answered, you scampered off like a frightened kitten.
He's got a way with words here, doesn't he? You barked your challenge like a lion, but as soon as I responded, you went and hid like a frightened kitten. Mohammed Hijab, a man who thumps his chest like Tarzan, but cries like Jane.
So that second to last question there, we didn't really cover that. It was kind of a minor aside in the whole saga, but Ali Dawa's second video of the 3 that he released was an attack on Salman, the guy behind veils, saying that, his ex-wife Dunya, she's made all these accusations, blah, blah, blah. Now they threatened to do this, right? They threatened to do it in private messages, and someone's like, bring it, right?
Just like they threatened Sheikh Tarana.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, we can get Dunya and we can interview her and we can have her air her story. Well, apparently she declined. She was not interested in doing it for one reason or another. So they ended up playing Salman's own videos from a year or two ago where he told the story of what happened in the relationship, and they used that as accusations against him. And they're like, we're just taking Dunya's word for it, just like you tell us to. I'm not making any accusations, I'm just putting it out there, I'm just asking questions, which is why Salman was just asking questions in the previous video. But in the video, Ali even admits that the Islamic penalty for slander is 40 lashes. And he's like, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just putting the questions out there. Well, strangely, once Salman accepted the challenge, Ali went silent. And by the way, Ali actually did a video a year or two ago defending Salman against the accusations made by Dunya, which he deleted earlier this year when it became clear that Salman was investigating hijab.
Isn't that interesting? But it's the same thing with Sheikh Tarana. It's a couple things. It's, hey, don't under any circumstances expose what we're doing, or helping anyone who's trying to expose us. If you do, we'll find dirt on you and expose you. You don't want that to happen. So keep in mind, it's the same way they keep the women in control, they keep the men in control, right? Like here, you're not going to want to deal with the repercussions of exposing us. Therefore, shh. That's what they say to all their ex-wives and so on. It's what they say to men who know about what's been going on. But then they have to follow. They understand they have to follow through on that, right? In other words, once Sheikh Tarana says, you know what, I'm gonna say what happened anyway, or the behind veils guys say, you know what, you say you're gonna go after us, go ahead. We're still gonna say what happened. They have to follow through. Why? Because there are other people who know stuff. There are other wives out there. There are other guys who were the witnesses of this sort of thing. And they want all these guys to know, when we tell you we're going to come after you to destroy your life, if you talk about us, we want all you guys to understand. So Sheikh Tarana will be used as an example in the future for these guys. When they're behind the scenes and it's another wife who wants to come forward, and the wife is like calling on witnesses and stuff to help her and stuff, they're going to say, hey, potential witness, look what happened to Sheikh Tarana. Yeah, he got to say what happened, but we've destroyed his life. You want to be like that? So just think carefully. Think carefully about this. We're dealing with some evil scumbags here.
You have spent the last few videos taking one oath after another. Why are you both so afraid now? To everyone watching, if you ever encounter Mohammed Hijab or Ali Dawa, don't let them control the narrative. Don't let them deflect. Don't let them hide behind spiritual theatrics. They both tried to character assassinate and destroy anyone and everyone who dared to speak the truth. And now it's their turn. Ask them these questions directly, publicly, and without fear. Take out your phone and record it. Record how they desperately try to evade answering these questions, especially after having launched a whole series of videos riddled with vicious lies.
This video is more brutal than I thought. I was looking because I wanted to see if there's any like new information and stuff. And when I didn't see any new information, I was like, oh, okay, it's not really, maybe he's saving the Ali Dawa stuff for the last one and so on. But no, this is kind of brutal. He's saying, go around, screenshot these questions, and everywhere you can find these guys, conferences, anywhere, roll up on them and say, hey, got some questions for you. It's kind of brutal.
That's really important, because the best strategy for hijab from a, not a moral standpoint by any means, but a purely strategic standpoint, and from Ali Dawa, is just to say absolutely nothing, to remain silent and let it blow over, right?
But I'll add to that. The best thing they can do is some great Dawa stuff right now. That's the best thing. Some great dawah stuff to get the ummah cheering for them again. And the ummah be like, well, we don't need to pay attention to that stuff back then. Look at the awesome work they're doing.
And what is the best way to counteract that? It's for people just to continue to hound them with this. Hijab goes and he's doing some dawah speech or whatever and does audience Q&A. And then the first 3 people who get up and ask a question, ask him about his secret second wife. I mean, he'll decline to answer it, but people keep bringing it up, right?
Because you can either admit that he lied, which he's not going to do because he's a coward. He's not a real man. Or he can lie again, but he's at the point where he knows the lies will be used against him in court. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to look at this person serving the kuffar by trying to distract from my powerful dawah. That's why he's in that community. That's why he worked himself into that community, because he can always use that to evade criticism. Wild stuff. Yep. This is pretty brutal.
Because until they answer truthfully and transparently, they are not defenders of Islam. They are liars, deceivers, and architects of a cover-up. And let's be absolutely clear. We've seen this tactic before, over and over again. The same cowardly silence in the face of mounting evidence. Whether it was with Dunya Shoaib, Yasser Birjas, or Omar Suleiman, they all chose the same playbook.
Andrew Tate.
Stay silent, ignore the accusations, and let time work its magic where people will forget about it.
Oh, okay. To be fair, that wasn't Tate. He kept running his mouth and saying. Okay.
Yeah, Tate's too much of an egotistical maniac to be silent.
Yeah.
And I suspect that's actually what will happen with hijab, right? If they don't let this drop, he's eventually his ego is going to get to him and he's going to think he has to respond.
All while distracting the public with sugary storytelling, staged humility, and performative piety. They counted on the public to forget, but we haven't, and we won't. Let me say something that needs no sugarcoating. You've probably heard it from the lips of fame-hungry influencers and preachers obsessed with their image, that real men don't hide like cowards from the truth. They don't cower behind anonymous AI avatars, deepfake voices, or vanish into the digital shadows while innocent people suffer. So to Mohammed Hijab and Ani Dawa, we ask, where is your masculinity now? Where's the courage? Where's the alpha male toughness? What happened?
He put the picture of Mohammed Hijab up with his shirt off. The alpha male.
Wow, it's so popular. Even he's using it. That's awesome.
That's funny. That's for anyone who doesn't know. That's when Mohammed Hijab decided to show everyone his second career as a male stripper. I was really trying to impress everyone. Oh, look, he took his shirt off. Look, it's so great.
Yeah, I'm sure that the people with a Chinese flag nearby, because that's why he took it off, right? Because here's a flag to replace your Chinese flag. I'm sure they're very impressed, and they totally don't support China anymore.
And now that my shirt is off, let me take this bottle of baby oil and oil up my skin so you can see what a real man I am. I am the voice of Dawah.
Into the chest-beating, mic-dropping, loudmouth bravado? Have you lost your spine? Have you lost your sense of what it means to be a man?
Ouch.
Why the sudden retreat? Why the sudden silence? Is it because your lies have unraveled? Is it because the truth is now staring you in the face? And as for you specifically, Mohammed Hijab, in your entire online career, you've argued, attacked, debated, and tried to humiliate anyone who stood in your path. You've shouted at other du'at. You've mocked countless people. You've made your entire career off of being confrontational.
He did do that.
But now all of a sudden you're silent. Now you're hiding behind AI. Now you're terrified to even utter a word in response to me or to Sister Aisha.
What a weakling.
What happened? Are you afraid? Afraid that if you speak, the entire web of lies will collapse in front of the very audience you tried to deceive? The ball is in your court and the world is watching. Let your silence be known as your admission of guilt, and that you are not real men. You are both pretenders.
Oh man, I thought that video was pretty weak. I was like, why do you even post this? But again, I wasn't really paying attention. I was like, okay, is he offering new incriminating information on this whole thing? Oh, none of it's is he just rehashing? That's why I was like, oh, he's just rehashing And I understand he's got another video coming out going after Ali Dawah. So like, okay, he's just trying to warm everyone up again and trying to remind everyone of what's going on. But yeah, actually sitting there and watching it carefully, that was brutal, man. That was brutal. It's here, guys. They're trying to avoid talking about this and avoid addressing the issues after lying terribly and abusing people terribly. Don't let them get away with it. Anyone with some integrity, here's some questions that you can ask. And these guys are not hard to find. They go around speaking at various events and so on. Ali Dawah's on the street. It's pretty easy to confront these guys. Now go do it. And then he calls them out for not being real men. Ouch. That was pretty brutal, man. That was actually pretty brutal.
Yeah, and good advice, right? Good advice to all the Muslims who see that and are concerned, and there are many. Again, I think that most common everyday Muslims who learn about this situation are on the side of Aisha if they bother to investigate it. Problem is, so few Muslims have actually learned about this in comparison to the number of followers that Hijab or Ali Dawah or anyone else has, that it doesn't really create any kind of ripple or momentum. And I think that's what Salman's trying to do. He's trying to get more people talking about this, trying to get more people involved, put more pressure on Hijab to actually give a real response.
And that's the same thing that Aisha's doing, but in different ways.
Yes, exactly.
Aisha's actually talking to you now in order to get even more non-Muslims talking about this, to call him out and actually basically force him to make a response, which, again, as we know, will get her into trouble with the Ummah. But lots of people are already taking Mohammed Hijab's side just because he's Mohammed Hijab and just because his followers don't care a whole lot, obviously, about women. So they're just automatically going to take his side. And so she's saying, all right, well, we've got some Christians and others out there who aren't scared of Mohammed Hijab ruining their lives. And so let's get everyone talking about this. Everyone who actually thinks women should not be treated like this can be on the same page, whatever your background, Christian, Muslim, atheist, whoever. We can all be on the same page that this is pretty slimy behavior and men should be called out for doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're actually going to check out, we're going to watch Thaddeus's video. We'll take these couple of super chats real quick. Not one imam said to Mohammed Hijab, brother, ooh, ooh. What's that, brother? That's true. Henceforth, Mohammed Hijab's new name shall be Mubahala Hijab. You can't. How's he gonna be called Mubahala Hijab when he won't Mubahala?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hotel Hijab is perfect. And I saw someone suggested Airbnb Ali as the counterpart. I think it works really well. I think that's what they should be. Hotel Hijab and Airbnb Ali, at least in this context of the Secret Wives.
So, guys, if you're at the next Dawah conference and you have an opportunity for some Q&A, you can say, I have a question for Hotel Hijab. Questions about McMuta? D Wood, Chris from Speaker's Corner made a Mubahala video game with you, AP and GodLogic as playable characters. Have you seen this yet? Yeah, Chris sent me that. I want to play it live, but AP's got to do it from his. I'm terrible with video games or anything like that. Yeah, I learned to play video games with Pac-Man and stuff like that. So anyway, no, we'll do that. We'll probably play that and probably play that in a live stream. That should be fun. Let's see. Next video for Thaddeus is to interview the men of Al Zut.
Very generous donation there. So I guess I'll have to make that happen. I am actually playing around with, some totally legitimate interview technology to get a reenactment of Muhammad the Prophet meeting the men of Al Zut. And I do have some very useful clips already generated for that. I probably won't put it out like the next week. I'm going to focus on Aisha and such for this week. But in the near future, I think you may see a video titled something like Muhammad crossed the Diddy line.
Yeah, I have to say, Thaddeus the other day, this was at a private meeting of YouTubers and stuff. Thaddeus is like, yeah, I tried using that AI to to make the story of Al-Zut. Didn't work very well. It's all messed up. And then he plays it for us. We like dying laughing. It had the guys like jumping on him. And so, anyway, we're like, no, dude, you need to. This is classic here. So
yeah. So on encouragement from everyone, I was just goofing off. I just did one generation, but on encouragement from everyone, I went back and I crafted the prompt and I got much better versions of it. So I think what I'm going to do is have like who did it better type thing and play them like back to back and then like, say vote for your favorite in the comments, something like that.
Islam simply enables abusers and covers their sin. Yeah, to be fair, people in other groups can fall for the same thing. But I mean, the Dawah scene seems like specially designed for manipulators of all kinds, psychopaths, narcissists. I don't know. I'm not even thinking any psychopaths particularly. They're all narcissists. Narcissists are the ones who take off in the Dawah community. Mohammed Hijab, if he took a psychiatric evaluation, he would be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Same thing with Ali Dawah. Same thing with Sheikh Uthman. And these guys become the kings of Dawah. You guys have a messed up system if people with serious personality disorders, where everything is all about themselves, actually are the ones who are prized and cherished in your community. The more narcissistic you are, the more they will elevate you. I have to say, as someone who wants to see Islam collapse, this is the way to do it, guys. Hats off to you. Keep doing it. Let's see. A poem for you, D. Wood. The Many Lies of Mohammed Hijab calls for mubahala that made him quite sad. He now lives in his car and cries, "Where is Allah?" Now his wives are all talking to Thad.
Yeah, any other ex-wives of Mohammed Hijab? And we know that there are multiple for sure out there. I'm just saying, contact me. Available for interviews.
Guys, that's on a serious note, that's why Aisha has to win, and that's why everyone needs Aisha. This isn't about Mohammed Hijab. I mean, he's one piece of all this, but you have an entire community, the Dawah community, that is horribly abusing women and treating them like their own personal prostitutes, and they're all convinced that they can get away with this forever because they have a system in place where they can control people. In order for other women, one, not to fall for that, or two, to be able to expose what happens, Aisha has to win this. If she doesn't, then other women are never going to want to come out and expose what's going on. They're just not. They're going to say, wow, she tried everything. People were trying to help her, multiple videos exposing these guys as complete liars, and they still destroyed her life. I'm not stepping out there and messing with these guys. But if she actually is successful, crushes these guys in court, exposes them as liars, they get forced to admit to the community what they've done, that would be an environment where other people can come forward and say, you know what? Here's what they did to me. How dare you keep making fun of the Battle of Al-Zut? That's where they first set their eyes and leathery straps upon Muhammad. What you guys are talking about, man. Go over on AP's channel with all this weird stuff. Some U.S. women coined Al-Qaeda to insinuate that evangelical legalism is actually comparable to Sharia, ignorant or just evil. It's pretty dumb. That would be pretty dumb. The name is funny though. I give credit to funny names, and that's a funny name right there. Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, well, I mean, the irony here is that, at least in principle, evangelical Christians should be the least legalistic of any sect. So I don't know why someone would coin it in specific. I guess they're probably like thinking of like the stereotypical Baptist town where they don't allow music or whatever. But I mean, that's
I've
not
also
really even a thing.
Yeah, I've also seen the it's like a town in Footloose. I saw it in the movie Footloose with Kevin Bacon, and the whole town banned music and dancing. But there's also like the women who will pose with a picture of like an AK-47 and stuff like this, and it's like pink, and this, you see, this is the same thing as Al Qaeda. Yeah, same exact thing. All right, Thaddeus, we ready to check? Wait, matter of fact, before we check out Thaddeus's video, let's do this. Let's check out this conference promo since it's short. Let's see. Got to find it here. Here we go. All right, so here's a little conference promo for our conference. If you're in the Ohio area and you want to come check it out, let's see what we got.
Would you like to go to the greatest apologetics conference this country has ever seen?
Have you ever thought about how to share the gospel with culture?
Have you ever wanted to see Islam and Christianity battle intellectually in groundbreaking debates?
Have you ever wondered why Islam is growing so much here in the USA?
Have you ever wondered how anyone lives their life not knowing that the perfect eternal word of God become a man, not just to speak the truth, but to die for them?
Have you ever wanted to know how to move conversations about identity over to the gospel?
How can a sinner be right before a holy God?
Have you ever wondered what God thinks about women?
Have you ever...
Hey, no one told me it was going to be a bunch of nerds and I'm putting my coolness.
Well, you know, Mike Winger isn't going to be there, so it could get lower. It could get lower.
I'm just saying. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I'll do this conference. And it's like, I don't know. You got some nerds on here.
wanted to seek and share truth together better than ever before with like-minded and uniquely gifted brothers and sisters?
Did you realize that Muhammad is actually in the Bible? But it's not what you may think.
Hey, that's Eric. I mentioned before, like people give off a vibe. Like people give off different vibes. And Eric here, he gives off two simultaneously if you're around him. One, he'll come across like as like a computer nerd and be talking about computer stuff, and he'll give off that vibe. But he'll also give off the vibe of like, I will shoot you in the face. And
This is very true.
Isn't it weird? It's like again, people normally give off like one vibe. He gives off like two vibes that do not seem to be sort of friendly to each other. It's weird. It's a weird situation. Anyway.
Have you heard of the infamous satanic verses?
Oh, I've heard of those.
Would you like to hear more? A lot more?
Have you ever wondered why, according to the Quran, Allah is Satan and Jesus is God?
Would you like to understand ways in which you can better convey the sanctity of human life?
Have you ever wondered about why so many people are being attracted to Hebrew Israelism?
Would you like to know why Dawah is crumbling?
It's crumbling.
Have you ever wanted to hear me sing? Probably not.
Have you ever wondered?
Yeah, guys, just so you know, AP is scheduled to sing one of his songs at the conference.
It'll only be 5 minutes, though, so you can skip it if you want. I said only be 5 minutes. You can just skip that part if you want.
I think, is he going to sing his reggae song about, I think he's going to sing his reggae song about the Islamic dilemma. That's funny.
To more effectively?
Would you like to master the Islamic dilemma?
Have you ever wanted to see Daniel Hakikachu and David Wood face off as Daniel tries to debunk the Islamic dilemma?
Did you know that the Islamic model of God is not able to explain miracles, but the Trinity not only can, but is the only model of God that does it perfectly?
At this conference, you'll learn how to identify a cult, how to give proper biblical responses.
Did he say identify a cult? See,
he's not a no.
He's one of these gun guys. He's like, how do you know that this is a Smith and Wesson and this is a cult? Here, I'll explain all of that to you.
Yep. Hopefully win them for Christ by preaching to them the true gospel of Jesus Christ according to biblical revelation.
And everyone who comes gets a free AK-47.
We will also be dealing with atheism and agnosticism and other philosophical worldviews that are in opposition to the biblical faith, which is Christianity.
Whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, atheist, or none of the above. If you'd like to learn more, we'd love to have you join us at this year's free Seek and Share Truth Conference in Ohio and online. If you'd like to support our missions, attending our free conference, outreaches, and/or debates, praying for us, donating to help us cover our speakers' costs, and inviting others to come and do the same helps so much. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website and RSVP for free today. And if you have any questions, know I'm here to help. We hope to see you there. And either way, thank you so much for your consideration. And may God bless you with his guidance always.
That was the nerdiest video I've ever been in.
I think you've been on a couple of my live streams.
All right, check out what just invited itself into this show.
Oh, did I join the live stream? So I was just I was gonna record something. I accidentally joined.
Baking too many brownies over there?
Oh yeah.
You look like that dude. I haven't seen a ton of Simpsons along the way. I watched it when it first came out, but there was that. It was a clown. It was the sidekick of the clown. You remember that, Thaddeus?
Yeah. Sideshow Mel, I think.
Are you calling me a clown?
No, I think it's Sideshow Bob. You said Sideshow. Hang on.
Yeah.
You said Sideshow Mel? What the heck? Sideshow.
Well,
it is Sideshow Bob, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that was different. So there is a different character that's Sideshow Mel, but the one with the hair like AP is Bob.
Sideshow. That is definitely Sideshow Bob. What's up, AP?
Oh, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, so you came in right when we're about to go through. Oh, for everyone who wants to come to the conference, details are in the description box of this video. There's a link to the video we just watched. That's on L's channel. And if you want tickets, they're also, the tickets are free. So you come to the conference for free. As far as the cost of the conference, they're crowdfunding that. So if you want to support the conference, you can do that as well. There's a link there. Again, they're keeping it free for everyone, but there are all kinds of expenses, travel expenses and stuff, getting a bunch of speakers there. So they're crowdfunding that. So if you want to contribute so other people can have their conference be free, that link is in the description box as well. So AP,
quickly before you move on, I did want to highlight that it was said kind of quickly there, but David is indeed debating Daniel Hikachu. Some people are asking in the comments if that was the case. He is. Somehow, we got Daniel to agree to debate the Islamic dilemma. So that will be really epic. I'm definitely looking forward. That'll definitely be a highlight of the conference there. Or, Daniel will chicken out at the last minute like a baby, but he is confirmed. He is on the record. So if he does chicken out, that's going to look really bad for him too. And then I would say that my talk is inspired by hijab. I won't be talking about Islam, but I will be talking about the Christian view of women and how implicitly how this is different from what we've been talking about today.
Very mean. Very, 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 very mean to have your presentation inspired by Mohammed Hijab's behavior.
I know.
But yes, guys, I will be debating Daniel Hikachu on the Islamic dilemma, and it's a weird situation because I'm always legitimately interested in what these guys are going to say, just because it's always like, is someone going to come up with an actual response, a serious response that actually fits the evidence? I haven't seen anything yet, but maybe Daniel will surprise us all. We'll have to see. Let's take these 3 super chats here, and then we'll jump. AP, we're about to go through Thaddeus's interview with Sister.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought he was only publishing it. Huh.
We have from Ida. Oh, there's a super sticker. We have, darn it, David, I was just in Ohio. Now I have to drive another 12 hours to go. Yeah.
It's worth it.
That'll be fun, though. Video had Starship Troopers vibe. Oh, yeah, it did. And then Ida, here we go. Haven't seen you in ages. So happy to see you all, especially AP's hair. Yeah, you haven't been here in a while. AP's been growing that out for a while.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing a good job with that.
Yep. Been growing out some dope hair. All right, guys. Anything you want to say, Thaddeus, before we check this out?
I just say
Whoa!
that
It's actually AP.
Shocking. I'll just say that this is just, although this is a half hour, there is a good amount of stuff here. It's just a taste of what is to come in the coming week and perhaps weeks. As a lot of stuff coming up. So if you're interested in more, definitely pay attention here on Apologetics Roadshow, but also be sure to subscribe to my channel because I got a bunch more stuff coming out on this. And I happen to know David's got some stuff coming out as well.
Oh boy, oh boy.
That was vague. It was vague.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. Let me just say, Mohammed Hijab, Ali Dawa, all you guys have to do is whatever Aisha wants to make this right. So that would obviously include you guys acknowledging that you lied about her, tried to discredit her horribly, basically got the ummah after her. Acknowledge all that. Acknowledge where you lied. Acknowledge how you blackmailed Sheikh Tarana. Apologize to the Behind Veils guys for attacking them when they're just telling the truth. Do all that stuff. And again, Aisha, what she's been after is informing other women so that they don't fall for this. You help her do that. It means you use your channels to say, yes, this has been going on, and any woman who feels like she has been wronged by us, we invite you to come forward. We will not attack you. That sort of thing. In other words, do the right thing. And guess what? I will never mention, this is the best you're going to get from me. I will never mention it again. I will never mention it again. Do the right thing for once in your pathetic lives, you sniveling cowards. Do the right thing for once in your lives. I will be so thrilled that for once in your lives you've done the right thing. I will never mention it again. Unless you want me to mention it as an example of someone doing the right thing for once in their pathetic lives, and then I will mention it. But apart from that, if you don't want me to mention it, I will never mention it again. That is the best deal you're going to get, but you guys need to fix this. You need to fix this stuff. Wait, we just had a couple of super chats coming in, but let's go ahead and watch this. Wait, oh no, these are about AP. Let's see. Haven't seen you in ages. Oh, that was Ida. We already read that one. This one. Where is the conference happening exactly? I gave the links. It's got the information in the links. So
where
check
all
out
the strange things happen in Ohio.
Yeah, we already said in Ohio. We don't know how we can make it any more clear than Ohio. But yeah, you've got the links. You've got all that stuff in the.
Yeah, Elle is in the chat sharing the link to it where you can find the address directly. So check it out.
And we've got from David, will AP dance as he sings at the conference?
Of course. What do you think?
He's going to do his new dance called the AP. Or what's it called? Orthofarian? He's going to do a dance called the Orthofarian. Everyone's got to learn it. That's required for everyone who attends the conference. And then everyone's going to gather together on stage and do the Orthofarian together.
I'm already preparing my new look. It's like it's gonna have a cross here, and then also have Orthofarian hair and stuff like that. So it's gonna be good, man.
Hey AP, you hear this? Eunuch here says here ATS arrested terrorist Abu Bakr after 30 years of hiding. You know what that's about?
Nope. Nope.
What is ATS? ATF would be alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. What is ATS? You know what that is?
I don't know.
I'm going to look that up real quick, and then we're going to watch this video. ATS, Abu Bakr, arrested. Oh, okay. That's India.
Ah.
The Tamil Nadu Anti-Terrorist Squad, ATF. That sounds pretty badass. Tamil Nadu Anti-Terrorist Squad. I want to join that right now. How can I become an honorary member of the Tamil Nadu Anti-Terrorist Squad? The ATS arrested the state's most wanted terrorist. Oh, Abu Bakr Siddiq. Yeah, I didn't know because Abu Bakr is that's used all over the place. I've heard of Abu Bakr Siddiq.
Abu Bakr.
Wow, that's interesting. They caught him. Interesting.
If my name was Abu Bakr, I would open a bakery and call it Abu Bakery.
Yep. So he got his Abu Bakr Siddiq and Muhammad Ali, who were planning bomb blast in 3 major cities. Huh. Well.
$500,000 rupee award, it looks like.
Huh. I'll take my rupees for my valuable contributions to this investigation.
I thought you said 500,000 root beers.
That too.
All right, we're going to check out this interview with Thaddeus and Aisha. Let's do this. Do it.
Thank you, Christian Gadfly. I always appreciate you. Christian Gadfly is I am laughing AP, even if no one else did. Thank you, Christian Gadfly. Thank you.
AP said root beer. Root beer is so funny. It's a soda.
I wish Hijab did not behave the way he did. He did not show up the way he did. He didn't do these actions because it did knock me down. It did knock me down faith-wise. I was completely crushed. I had my faith shaken. I pray and I wish if I could see our shuyukh and scholars come out and correct him easy. Just correct him, apologize and correction, and that's it, and move on.
It's kind of it's a pretty reasonable request, isn't it? Just like, guys, just can you say that what he did was wrong? Can you guys say that? If we have an entire religion where you can't even say that something is wrong, we got a problem here. Then we have a note on the screen. Aisha only agreed to this conversation because I agreed not to mock Islam or Muhammad. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you agree to such a thing? I would have
not in general, just during the interview.
I would have been respectful regardless. I kindly ask that the comment section also be kept respectful. Everyone,
technically,
please.
that's for my video, but I mean, I think it. We're talking about serious issues here. We're talking about the abuse of a woman and her attempt to get justice. It's not the best time for silly jokes.
This is not the time to be like, ha ha, I'll zoot, ha ha, eyes of the leather strap of the... No, not time for that, guys. So don't be, be serious for 5 seconds of your lives, everyone, and all your jokes that you come here from AP's channel with.
This is a reasonable request. So Aisha only agreed to this conversation because I agreed not to mock Islam or Muhammad. I would have been respectful regardless. I kindly ask that the comment section also be kept respectful. I mean, if she asked me, I would say, all right, get out of here. I'm not doing this. But I understand that Thaddeus is a good guy, so he went ahead with it. It's respectable.
Yeah. I mean, and to be perfectly clear, there's no way I would have been like asking mocking questions about your pervert prophet or something like that in the interview anyway. So it's not like I actually changed the way I approached it in any way.
Yes. So Thaddeus actually handled this entire situation correctly, which is why she talked to Thaddeus and not to AP. AP would be mean and insulting and rude. Anyway, let's check this out.
Welcome back to Reason Answers. Today I have the extreme honor and privilege of interviewing Aisha, that is the woman who Mohammed Hijab tricked into a secret Mishyar marriage. If you're unfamiliar with her story or have missed some of the developments, there's a playlist in the video description that can get you caught up to date. Today, we're going to be talking with her to get an update on how things have progressed and to get her thoughts on how the case has been presented. I'm well aware that she's making a substantial sacrifice coming here today and talking to an enemy of Islam, such as myself, which could open her up to further criticism from the Islamic community. So, welcome to the program, Aisha. Why have you decided to do this interview?
I have decided to come on board on your channel for a few reasons. First, I was astonished and appalled from the reaction of our scholars and shuyukh. Silence was deafening. And I started this whole action of me bringing out what I have gone through, the marriage I have gone through, the divorce I have gone through, because I wanted to make sure that the real picture of Islam is seen. I expected that what Mohammed Hijab is preaching would be corrected, but unfortunately and sadly, that was not the outcome, and that didn't happen, and therefore that has affected me even more. And we can't, in this scenario, claim that they didn't know about the story. Actually, they did. I'm here after what Salman has put forward on the table, the big sacrifice he's done. He did put his life on hold. He did put his family on hold. Honestly, I am here to echo his efforts. I am here because I have reached out to a few other Muslim channels, and they refuse to echo his sacrifice and what the effort he did put forward in his videos. And therefore, I realize you guys are the only ones who are talking about this topic. For me, what Mohammed Hijab has done was an extremely heinous and abhorrent, is the wrong preaching of Islam. Those are crimes and extremely disgusting actions that he did engage in. Considering his position of trust and authority, he has to be called out.
Thanks again for joining me today.
You want to pause it there? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
hang on. Wait. You saw this. We are not just ignoring this. Thaddeus' voice reminds me of an airline pilot. That's perfect description. I was trying to think of like psychologist or something like that, but no, airline pilot is a. And if you look out your right window, you see these are the Rocky Mountains, and that's it. That's the voice. All right, sorry about that. Go ahead. Thaddeus.
Yeah, so I just want to be clear. Like, I don't necessarily agree that everything that Mohammed Hijab is against Islam, but I think it is worthwhile highlighting that there is a diversity of opinion within Islam. There's the Salafi interpretation, which is what the Dawa guys generally follow, which we often associate as the Islam or true Islam. And while I would agree with their position that it's probably the closest to what Muhammad taught, it's certainly not what every Muslim around the globe believes. Just like in Christianity, there's a diversity of thought. There's plenty of Muslims who would, as a theological matter, say that what Mohammed Hijab did was wrong.
Any thoughts on this, AP, before I click play?
Well, there is a very important part that she just addressed. So it was primarily just about how the Muslim side completely ignored this and tried to look away. She said that the scholars and the sheikhs, the shuyukh, and the others tried to look away and not talk about this and ignore this completely. And she said, as we just heard, that you guys are the only ones talking about this. So this is very interesting, very important stuff here. A Muslim woman is being mistreated and taken advantage of and lied about, and the Muslims are quiet about it because they want to protect their fellow Muslim apologists, or because they're scared of him. I don't know. But we are not scared.
But we are not scared, but we are not shy. Some Muslims are too shy to talk about this, but we are not shy. Hey, look at this. I can't tell if this is a joke or not. Dumb person here says, Diddy Wood, somebody needs to knock you out.
That seems like a serious comment.
Many people have tried. No one's ever managed to actually knock me. I've had the crap kicked out. You know what's funny? I was mentioning to AP the other day, I've been hit in my face hundreds of times. I've been kicked in the head probably 25, 30 times. But no one's ever knocked me out. But the hardest I've ever been hit was by a girl's purse. It was the hardest I've ever been hit. I caught The second would be this guy who caught me in the side of the head with an elbow and it dropped me down to a knee, and it was like stars and stuff like this. But I can say the hardest I ever got hit was this girl swung her purse at me, and she must have had like an iron in there, but the thing had like a 4-foot handle on it and stuff, and she like wound up and swung all around, and I didn't see it coming, and clocked me right in the side of the head. Harder than any guy has ever hit me, and I've been hit a lot. And so, dumb person, that message was for you. You better hit harder than a woman's purse. No guy's ever been able to do it. So good luck to you. Catch me off guard and bring an army.
I agree. Salman has done some great work. He's done something truly brave and special. He's put himself out there, risked criticism so that evil could be exposed, so that justice could be served. That's not something that's easy to do. It's much easier just to remain silent and say, well, it didn't affect me. It's not really my responsibility to talk about this. I'd be much safer not talking about it. And in this case, you also have the serious risk of retaliation from Mohammed Hijab, threats of violence perhaps even. So commendable work all around. Are you happy with how Salman has handled the case and how your story has been told publicly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Salman had gone himself through whatever trials, which were very shocking, and then a few other individuals as well, like the brother Abu Aya. There is this pattern that has affected my faith, really. And Salman helped me. He helped me. I was breaking down spiritually. He took time. He did a lot of investigation. He did go through the details, the evidences I provided him. He spoke to many people. So he didn't take it for my word. He has done a very great job.
Absolutely. I agree that Salman has done some amazing work. I
don't know why we're talking about this now, but apparently I have to answer it. Why was she attacking you, David? This was dumb. This was at a bus stop in middle school, and I don't remember what she was doing that annoyed me, but I just went and grabbed a random branch from a tree, just a random branch. I pulled it down, and then I came up to her, and I go, this is poison oak. This is poison oak. I'm going to rub it all over your face. You're going to go to school like an idiot with poison oak all over your face. And I went at her, and she acted like she was going to bolt running. I didn't realize she was winding up with that purse. And so I've got this branch in front of me, and all of a sudden she swings around, this purse comes around the side and just whacks me right in the side of the head. And it wasn't completely lights out. I was still conscious, but I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything except for like it's like a cartoon, like stars. Stars going everywhere. Anyway, hope that answers the question, everyone. That was not supposed to be an important rabbit trail to go down. That was a warning for anyone who wants to knock me out. You better come up with something better than a purse or a fist or a boot.
Case has progressed. There have been a number of Muslims who've come out in support, private individuals primarily, who believe that you have truly been wronged and are completely on your side. But there's also been many Muslims who've come out and, while not necessarily supporting hijab per se, say that you are also in the wrong, perhaps even more in the wrong for revealing this, for bringing the story public, that perhaps the embarrassment brought on the Islamic community is worse than what Mohammed Hijab has done. What would you say to Muslims who hold that opinion?
The big takeaway for me the entire time is basically what Thaddeus was saying, sort of right here. It's, how is she the bad one? Like, how can people look at this whole situation and say she's the bad one? Like, I do not trust anything you say after you look at this whole situation and say she's the bad one. And if the entire ummah is saying that, oh my goodness, don't tell me about your religion ever again. I'm not interested.
That there's something wrong about exposing Mohammed Hijab's deeds.
What Mohammed Hijab has done was not an action to be concealed. This is not a sin that he has committed between him and Allah. This is a sin through which he has harmed somebody's life. And we are not talking here about a little small action of a disagreement. I'm talking about the whole situation. the psychopathic interaction, the everything that has followed, the threats, the blackmail, the making up of stories, the slander. There are a lot of details. There are some details that were not even shared with the public. There is a lot going on. There was a lot. He refused to apologize. There was no retraction of the preaching that he's been influencing other men to follow. There was a lot of heinous crimes and actions that happened after I reached out and I tried to get at least some kind of clarity of why did he do this. If he would have apologized and there would have been a correction to what he's been preaching out there to the public, nothing of this would have been, exposed.
Absolutely. Mohammed Hijab is an individual.
I just wanted to point out that is a serious issue, namely that Mohammed Hijab is propped up as this hero of the Ummah. And it's not just like now people are getting an idea of how he lives. He's been preaching this stuff, at least elements of it all over the place. And so you've got the hero of the Ummah teaching this is how you treat women.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's right. This isn't something you just, okay, you wronged me. Let's just move on. It's not just him and the Dawa community that are doing this. I mean, they acknowledge this. They're doing secret polygamous marriages and stuff, and a bunch of these guys are doing it. Hijab said he estimates 85% of the Dawa guys are doing polygamous marriages and so on. It's not just that. These are the guys who are the example for the young generation of Muslims. And they're setting, it's similar to like with Andrew Tate in that it's not just Andrew Tate who's treating women like this and turning women into his cam girls. He's training other people how to do this. And that's where you have to expose this stuff. So Aisha's right.
Yeah, and I just want to point out what Aisha's doing here, because there is actually this concept in Islam that you're not supposed to reveal sins, right? Allah is the concealer. It's one of his 99 names. A sin that's done in secret, Allah kind of automatically has forgiven. That's why it wasn't revealed. And thus, it's also a sin to reveal crimes, right? To reveal someone's sins. But what Aisha's pointing out is that's not the case here. That because there is a third-party victim herself, she has every right to reveal this situation. She has every right to try to get justice. And she tried to go about it Islamically, right? She tried to go about it in a private setting and not making this a public matter. And they refused, basically. Well, actually, it was set up so that Hijab would apologize, that there would be, some public discussion of this in an anonymous manner. Agreement was made, and then the agreement was broken by Hijab's side. At the last minute, Hijab said, nope, never mind, we're not doing this. And thus, she's justified to reveal it.
Oh yeah, so I was just thinking in terms of like how messed up this is, and this is something you have to expose for the protection of other people. But yeah, that's another issue. They had an agreement. Okay, here's what we will do to solve this problem, and then Hijab's side backs out of the agreement. Okay, this all on you then. She gave you a way to keep what you did quiet. She gave you a way that she was going to keep this in general and just inform people this is what's going on in the Dawa community. Ladies, protect yourselves from these guys. And then they couldn't even go through with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's on you guys. Was it worth it, Hijab? Was it worth it? Now you've been exposed. Ali Dawa's been exposed, and it's not over. And you've been exposed for blackmailing a sheikh and so on.
I'm loving it.
Thaddeus, you've got something to read in your voice here.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're cruising at 10,000 feet over the disaster that is Mimi's love life right now. You can see smoke rising out of the wreckage. We'll just vector around and miss the turbulence.
Now do it. You have to toss in a bunch of random like We're cruising at 10,000 feet
Oh yeah,
over the disaster.
we're cruising at let's see, 10,000 feet over the disaster that is Mimi's Love Alive right now. And if you look out your window, you can see that the smoke is rising out of the wreckage. But don't worry, everyone. We're not going to fly through that. We'll just take a vector around it and miss all the turbulence that the massive disaster of Mohammed Hijab is causing in the world right now.
Now there's one mistake here. Actually, there are two mistakes here. So mistake one is when you say it, when you speak it, you actually have to avoid any kind of pause. It has to be like completely connected. It's like we're cruising at 10,000 feet over the disaster that is. And also, you have to slur your speech significantly. You have to mumble basically. You're opening your mouth too much.
It's like mumble rap, but an airplane pilot.
Yeah.
Noted.
God bless.
I'll practice for next time.
Good. God bless Ridvan, David, and Thaddeus. Glory to God. And
God bless you, Kira. God bless you.
Wanted to check this one out. Do you think this is the end of Mohammed Hijab's and Ali Dawa's careers, or do you think the Roaches will survive? No, this is not the end of their careers. They could go down for the rest of their lives denying that ever happened. And it could be exposed 1,000,000 times as much as they're exposed right now. That's not the end of their careers.
Yep.
Just wanted to be clear on that. All right.
Jill, that's
worthy. But I want to counter that, actually, David. I agree. Their careers are definitely not over. There'll be plenty of people who support them no matter what. But I think that there's a reason that Mohammed Hijab reacted the way he did, and he is afraid that this could actually be damaging. Now, it would end his career. But if he lost, 5% of his followers and 5% of his income, he would care about that. And I think that is actually...
Oh, no. It's going to, if you ask, is it going to damage him? Yes. Yes, it's going to cause problems with both their wives. It's going to cause problems. They're not going to be able to go anywhere without people making fun of them. I'm just saying their loyal fan base is still going to be their loyal fan base because their loyal fan base does not care about women or any of this stuff. So as long as they have that loyal fan base, it's like Andrew. It doesn't matter how much the guy's exposed. That fan base is still it's basically cult-like. It's cult-like. They've rallied around a person. And that person, for them, can do no wrong. With everyone else in the world, Hijab and Ali Dawa are going to be a joke. They're going to be a joke and a laughing stock. So no, just to be clear, this is going to do damage, serious damage to them. It is not going to destroy their careers because at the end of the day, the loyal cult-like fan base does not care what they do.
Yeah. Apostle of Allah just made a very interesting, very good point. She also added to the whole pilot thing that you also have to be like extremely close to your microphone.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, noted.
That was true. That was true. Everyone's getting really, really good insights on how to imitate a pilot. This is good stuff. All right.
But I would also add that there's more at stake here than just Mohammed Hijab. As he's seen as a representative of Islam, his actions reflect not just on himself, but on the religion as a whole. There are Muslims who will go further and say that the majority of the fault, or perhaps even all the fault, lies with you. That by going public, you're suggesting that Mohammed Hijab is the only person to blame for this situation. How would you respond to such claims?
I spoke to my father. It was me who convinced my father and told him hijab is worthy of trust in a matter of marriage, basically. This is a man who's been married for a long time. He's got his own children. This was my own evaluation. Hijab has been fighting for Islam. He's been praised in so many organizations and institutes and mosques. So I convinced my father. It was me who convinced him, and this is why I feel the guilt. This is one of the reasons that has pushed me to come out public and expose this, because I convinced my father based on the fact that hijab is worthy of trust. But what happened after the marriage was abhorrent. It was shocking. It was not just a tiny little misunderstanding or a disagreement. So for me, this was not just a personal experience. This is an Islamic duty to come out and expose what hijab has done with the intention of there to be a correction for what he's preaching.
Well, regardless of what any Muslims may say, I personally believe that you are very brave and that you've done something very good coming forward and telling your story and exposing the truth about the actions of Mohammed Hijab. It takes a lot of courage to come and tell your story, knowing that people will criticize you, knowing that people will doubt you, knowing that people will be against you, and so much more so when the perpetrator of an action is a famous individual, is a powerful individual like Hijab. So what you've done is very important and very brave. So my next question to you is, what motivates you? What drives you? What keeps you moving forward with people like Mohammed Hijab fanboys coming out and opposing you and saying nasty things about you in public? What allows you to continue this fight?
The truth. The truth pushes me forward. And I am genuinely and honestly ready for absolutely everything and anything. Nothing could possibly faze me. Nothing. Why? Because I know that every single claim I made is true. And because I did go through the fire of not being capable of getting hold of every single evidence to every detail of what I have gone through. It did burn me. When you go through a lot and then you are only left with the little crumbs of whatever left over, you are trying to put them together and put forward your case, and you say, like, I'm saying the truth. And then the other party, what Mohammed Hijab has done, has enlightened even further fire inside me of resilience, because he started fabricating things, lying. He didn't apologize. He didn't admit any of the things that he's done. He's fabricated things. He's spread lies. And honestly, these are things that I couldn't just remain silent in front of all these things.
The truth is a very powerful motivator indeed, and a great
What you say?
I said, do you want to pause there? So Aisha here is kind of, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was she just talking about?
Stop chatting with the chat and then focus on the conversation.
I know.
You asked what motivated her. She says she's got the truth on her side. And stuff.
Yeah, the truth. But what I want to talk about, I remember now, is that she says, like, absolutely nothing could stop me here, right? And I know this to be true, right? Because I've actually been talking to her for a good while, and I tried to kind of dissuade her, right? Saying that this is very risky, right? I mean, I would love to have it.
You mean what? You mean doing an interview with you? Yeah. That is. It's like giving ammunition to her critics, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm happy to support you behind the scenes. I mean, I'd love to do the interview, but this isn't about me. It's not about my channel getting views or whatever. I want to do what's right for you. And so I tried to tell her that, are you sure, right? Are you really sure you want to do this? And she's like, I got nothing to lose. The people in Islam, they're not listening. I feel like this is going nowhere. I had hopes that when someone did it, that there'd be a response, but there pretty much hasn't been. So she absolutely cannot be dissuaded, right? No amount of threats is going to work. All the tactics that Hijab would use, trying to embarrass her, trying to threaten her, sending goons after her, none of this is going to work against her. And then the other point she's saying there is that there's actually a lot more, right? Hijab actually did a lot more, but the only thing she talked about in public was what she had proof of from screenshots later on, because during the relationship, Mohammed Hijab had the text messages set on auto delete. So she no longer has those. So she hasn't talked about everything he did to her, only the things that she actually had evidence for.
So just to be clear, and she was kind of talking about, I think she said this, there's all kinds of other things. She's only pointing out the stuff that she can prove.
Yep. Yeah, she did say that, but I just wanted to make it clear that's what she means by I have these little nuggets or whatever her exact words were. And it's really difficult when you only have these few little things and you got to fight for what's right. That's what she's talking about, that she didn't testify to things that he did to her that she doesn't have any record of.
reason to continue this fight. We've seen what you could call a response from Mohammed Hijab. Certainly, he's aware of what's been said about him. Certainly, he's aware that people in the Islamic community don't like what he's done. But he's chosen to hide. Hide behind an AI narrator, hide behind his friends, but not say anything with his own voice.
And you know what's crazy? Like, you can imagine, since his biggest fear is his wife finding out about this and taking away and leaving him again and taking away his kids, it's he's got to like make sure that she never comes across behind veils and all the actual evidence. And so what's he telling her? Oh, this is all lies. This is all lies. This has all been exposed. Look, we've got the secret AI the confession that we recorded. We've got her recorded, and here's this Photoshop. Here's this screenshot that we've got. This is mainly to dupe his wife. And so, anyway, what are you laughing at, man? This is not funny. This is serious stuff. It is
stupid and messed up. But you know what this reminds me of? In It's Always Funny. It's Always Sunny. There's this thing called the Dennis system. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, dude.
There should be a hijab system.
Yeah, the hijab system. We do need that. Yeah, Thaddeus, you don't know that there's a show there. You can find a video of the Dennis system on YouTube, but it's Dennis, who's a total psychopath on the show, and he's got this method for seducing women and then getting them to fall in love with you and then be obsessed with you forever, even after you kick them to the curb. He's got an entire system of like horrible manipulation and stuff. But yeah, that does remind. We need a hijab system of Mohammed Hijab. Him explaining this. Oh boy.
What do you think's going on in his mind? Do you think that he's learned his lesson? That is, that the public exposure to this incident will prevent him from doing this again? Or do you think that in the event there's no further consequences, that he'll just boldly do it again? Perhaps be a little more careful next time. Maybe find a revert who, as he says, will take it better, but certainly not have learned any real moral lessons and will be ready to take another secret Mishar wife whom he can take advantage of.
I don't want to think about that, to be really honest with you, because what I do wish overcomes what I do think. From the get-go, I wish I haven't gone through any of this. I wish Hijab did not behave the way he did. He did not show up the way he did. He didn't do these actions because it did knock me down. It did knock me down faith-wise. I was completely crushed. I had my faith shaken. I pray and I wish if I could see our shuyukh and scholars come out and correct him easy. Just correct him, apologize and correction, that's it, and move on. I do not subscribe and I do not accept that in our religion, these actions are called a valid opinion. I am not part of this and I am against this. I do really wish he's going to create a change in himself and basically come out and apologize to all the women and children that he has effectively harmed through his influence.
As a Christian, I can agree that my hope would be that Mohammed Hijab would repent of his actions and do better in the future. What about the rest of the community? What's at stake for the broader Muslim community, the Dawah scene and those outside the Dawah scene? What would it mean to people in a position of power if they see Mohammed Hijab getting away with this type of behavior? In other words, is this really about Mohammed Hijab, or is there something bigger and more important in play?
I never call for partition or conflict. I call for correction and accountability and punishments, regardless of who the person is, regardless of what their faith is, regardless of what their position is. Because people who got harmed, they at least deserve a clear, sincere apology. So I wish if the shuyukh and scholars and institutes, some of them at least would come out with a statement of correction, because what Mohammed Hijab is preaching, some of the shuyukh who advocate for a good relationship and justice and all these noble principles, they don't get as many views as Hijab does. I believe strongly that they have a bigger authority than him if they come out and just correct these preachings and explain that what Mohammed Hijab is preaching as a valid opinion is actually not.
There's a lot at stake.
That's a
here,
really
I would
important
say.
point there from Aisha. What she's saying is that there are Muslims, right, who teach a nicer, what we would call more moral version of Islam, but they don't have much say. They don't have much authority in the Islamic community. Those who are popular are the Mohammed Hijabs, who are out there thumping their chest and saying how strong and mighty Islam is, and you can just do whatever you want, and you can do all this kind of perverted stuff. And what she believes, and I believe she honestly believes this, is that the people who are, nicer and friendlier and teaching something more moderate and moral, you could even say, have more actual authority in Allah's eyes, but for some reason the public just doesn't want to support them, and so they need to come out and they need to oppose hijab, and then she believes that they will get more popular because people will be like, yeah, I agree with that. I don't agree with the disgusting things that hijab does. I would just say that I appreciate the wishful thinking there, but hijab's popular for a reason. Unfortunately, his brand of Islam sells.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that because we've seen it in the past, right? I mean, Mohammed Hijab, this is a messed up situation, but Mohammed Hijab has been like behaving terribly for years. And what you would occasionally see Muslims calling him out, like Sajid and Knowledge North and so on called him out years ago for basically for how he was causing people to react. It's like, hijab, when you come out and run in your mouth like this and start talking about people's wives and this and that, they react and they go after your religion. You're the cause of the way people are coming at your religion right now. You're the cause of this kind of thing. You need to stop. So they were calling him out back then for his antics. It didn't make them more popular, right? Like I understand the point if you want to say, hey, being right with God, that's what's most important. Even if the entire world doesn't listen to you, even if the entire world rejects you and condemns you, you want to make sure you're on God's side in these situations. But yeah, the fact that someone can come out, speak the truth, condemn evil behavior, and you will be viewed as the bad guys. And meanwhile, if you come out just thumping your chest, treating people horribly, basically destroying your religion from within, you're the hero of this community. You are the hero, and you could do no wrong. And that is seriously like this. The ummah is seriously dysfunctional. Like, I mean, this is crazy, man. And everyone right now who's watching this is watching this. Obviously, she's the good one in this situation, right? That doesn't mean you agree with her on everything. I mean, if you're looking at this situation, who's right, who's wrong, she's the one who's right. And yet she, again, will be viewed as the bad one, like seriously bad. And Mohammed Hijab is still the hero. This is sick stuff, man.
Those who are in a position of authority need to be held accountable. They don't just stand up as leaders or intellectuals or celebrities. They also provide role models for society to follow. And when they're not held accountable, it leads to a degrading of public trust, and it leads to a degrading of societal values in general. Now, there's a difference between holding someone accountable and permanently canceling them. I'm not saying that anyone who does anything wrong ever should never be listened to again on any matter. What I'm saying instead is when someone in authority does something wrong, they need to do the same thing as what any person who does something wrong should do. They should repent from their actions. They should express genuine...
More so, because they're an example for other people. And so... It's this weird thing where it should be obvious, but leaders and people with influence over other people should be held to a higher standard, not a lower standard. It's not, oh, you're in this special category, so you're beyond criticism and you can do whatever you want. No, you're in a position of influence over other people, so you need to be held to a higher standard and be more accountable to people, not less. This is weird stuff, man.
Sorrow. And they should try to do better. And there should be some sort of justice and restoration for the victims of their actions. Contrast this to the behavior of Mohammed Hijab, and to be honest, many celebrities who've been in the same kind of situation, where instead of coming forward and honestly admitting their mistakes, they want to hide and pretend like they've done nothing wrong. And of course, Mohammed Hijab is not unique here. And you are not unique either. There are many women who have been abused by authority figures, both within Islam and in society more broadly speaking. Do you see yourself as a kind of voice for the oppressed and the abused, someone who's able to stand up and speak the truth for those who are unable or unwilling to do so themselves?
Absolutely. This is one of the driving forces inside me. And basically, this is why I'm speaking up. This was one of my motives, is to create a change and to stop this avalanche of abuse, basically, and exploitation of the vulnerable under the disguise of a valid opinion of use and abuse and then trashing the next day. So I do hope that I am a voice to every woman who could have potentially been harmed by these kind of actions and this ideology that is, according to me, not part of Islam.
That's awesome to hear, because I personally believe that you are a very important voice, both for women in Islam and even women outside of Islam who faced this kind of abuse and intimidation from men. And I think that we can all agree, regardless of how we feel about Islam, that this is not part of good human values. It's not part of human morality, one might say, to mistreat other human beings. And that's very much what has happened here.
Well, why are you looking like, huh? Are you complaining because he says human?
Yeah.
Why do we both notice that?
You don't like the way I say human?
No, you say it with a silent H. I don't think the H is supposed to be silent.
Yeah.
In human.
You say it. You say like Donald
Human.
Trump says huge.
Yeah. These are not good human values.
They're huge human values.
These are huge human values.
All right, well, I'll change the way I say human from now
Okay,
on.
fine.
Human.
You got a human. Human. You can't even say it. Human.
Human.
What? You can't say the hard H sound. There we
Human.
go.
I don't know.
Oh, that worked.
This is good. I'm learning how to pronounce words.
Thaddeus can't pronounce the H sound, everyone. Oh, man. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. I did not know that. Okay, here we go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, some would say that you have already achieved justice of a sort, that your story has been told. Tens of thousands, perhaps even hundreds of thousands of people are now aware of your story. So my question to you is hearing your story enough? Are you happy with where the case stands? That is, are you satisfied with the justice you've achieved?
No. On her behalf. Now, she's going to answer for herself, but I say on her behalf, no. We are not. We all are not satisfied. I've said what I would be okay with. And keep in mind, I'm not in this situation, but just as a person who doesn't want women being treated like this, I've explained no. As far as hijab is concerned, he could fix this. He could fix this right now. He could fix this right now. Ali Dawah could fix this right now, assuming they refuse to do the right thing, which is pretty much what we're expecting them to do. They're not going to do the right thing. They need to be exposed. They need to be publicly condemned. They need to be exposed specifically for the lies they told and the blackmail and all that stuff. And the message needs to get out to other women not to fall for this nonsense and not to be used by these guys. Then point is that has not happened. That stuff has not happened. Part of it has happened. The rest needs to happen. And I'm assuming Aisha would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Satisfaction for me would be derived from achieving what I wanted to achieve the very first time. So there were a few things that were achieved. Alhamdulillah. It's sad. Mohammed Hijab helped us reveal some of his actions by, unfortunately, continuing and escalating his transgression, unfortunately and sadly. And I pray again that he would rectify his actions and fix what he's done and basically stop doing these kind of things. So that was the first thing, because I convinced my father that Mohammed Hijab is worthy of trust, and sadly and unfortunately, he was not. Second thing that I wanted to achieve that would bring forward satisfaction in regards to my case is a reply from our shuyukh and scholars that would rectify and correct Mohammed Hijab's claim that these kind of actions are a valid opinion in our religion. Unfortunately, this was not achieved. And also, I did hope that this is going to bring around an understanding in the Muslim community as well. Like those who are still defending hijab, and those who are telling me he's done more for Islam than you have, therefore you should have just let him do whatever. I don't know what their logic is like. This is why I decided to come out, and I wanted to give my last statement in my own voice in regards to something that I have gone through myself, that it did harm me, it destroyed me in so many ways. And basically, I wanted to have my own voice heard. After Brother Salman has done a great job and he made great sacrifices, and I'm very thankful and grateful for his work. But I wanted to make sure that I've got my own voice heard to ignite a response from our scholars in regards to these crimes, basically.
As the story progressed in the public eye, there was some talk about potentially taking your case to a Sharia court. Now, obviously, a Sharia court doesn't have any legal standing within the United Kingdom, but it does have a considerable amount of social standing within the Islamic community. How has that effort gone?
So far, I would like to give respect to that authority, to that council, and I wouldn't really want to disclose much of my interaction with them. However, I just give a comment that they made it clear to me that the only thing they are going to be dealing with is divorce. And that is because the nature of the divorce and the circumstances around it was not really clear in terms of Islamic teachings and so on. They made it clear that's the only thing they are going to be engaging with me about. And therefore, because there are other aspects to what Mohammed Hijab has done, I realized that it is necessary for me to try my best and close this case in my own words.
That's really unfortunate.
You want to pause it for a second?
The divorce is certainly.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Friendly ex-Muslim said, pause there, look at what they said to her about hijab doing so much, let him be. I'm not sure if they were talking about the Sharia court. Because they quote, he did so much for the Ummah, leave him alone, let him do what he wants. They said, so I think that perhaps just means Muslims in general, and that's certainly the case. But with the Sharia court, they basically gave her the runaround as well, as you can tell from her answer there. And she is no longer pursuing that matter. So some people say, don't take it to Sharia court. Well, she tried, but it was useless, I think, is basically the gist. She's being very nice about it, but I think that's really the gist of it, that she saw it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Important, but it's only a small portion of the story. So the fact that the Sharia court is unwilling to look at the rest of the story is definitely disappointing.
No, like seriously, like blackmail of a sheikh and like faking photoshopping screenshots, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just, hey, let's okay, the most we can do is iron out some details of a divorce or something like that.
Yeah, so I guess there's a technical question here. It wasn't quite clear what was meant in the videos, and I don't have any special information, but what I think probably happened is that she was on her period when Mohammed Hijab divorced her, which is not allowed Islamically, at least under many opinions. And so that would be what they'd be addressing, is the technical detail of the exact day that he divorced her, which is just silly, right? I mean, to be blunt, it's just silly. Everything he did, and that's the one thing they're concerned about, is that he might have divorced her on the wrong day of the week.
So that's what the Sharia court is willing to investigate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds very helpful.
And then people are wondering, why are you going outside the Islamic paths of dealing with this situation?
You mentioned how the Sharia court.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and to be clear, that's technically speculation. Again, Aisha didn't tell me that, but in multiple videos, there was something about the divorce being done at the wrong time. And so I asked around and determined that that's pretty much the only thing they could possibly be talking about when they're saying the divorce was done at a wrong time when it wasn't allowed Islamically.
Why are you laughing, you weirdo?
Doesn't have any legal standing in the United Kingdom. But of course, that means there's another option. There's the secular justice system, which certainly does have authority to hold Mohammed Hijab accountable for crimes that he's committed, both in criminal court as well as in civil court, where you could sue him for something like slander. What are your thoughts on pursuing justice from the secular justice system?
To be really honest, the only thing that ignites my actions in escalating is because this person, Hijab, has not acted in the appropriate way. He escalated his transgression, and therefore I realized I am worth something.
Absolutely.
This was my own life. This was my emotions, my faith. These were years of my youth. This was my child who got indirectly affected. These are women and children who are getting affected directly and indirectly through these preachings. And because it was extremely hard for me to lay hand on all the evidence, I was like, at least as long as I've got some evidence, then if you are not going to apologize about things that I wasn't able to categorically prove, I'm going to hold you accountable about things that I was capable to prove.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I would suggest that people like Mohammed Hijab, people in positions of power, need to be held accountable. And I would suggest that should be done by any legal means necessary. You didn't really provide a direct answer to my question about pursuing secular justice, but I do know that you created a GoFundMe for a possible civil lawsuit against Mohammed Hijab. Are you still interested in pursuing that lawsuit?
I will try my best to get that pursued, yes. I'm taking that into consideration. It's just subject to me being able to raise enough funds and also the collaboration of all the people involved in this story. But obviously, like whatever money I am going to be raising and anyone who's going to be ready to help, if I end up not going ahead with that, I am more than happy to give all the money back. I'm sharing the receipts. I've got absolutely no interest in keeping that money for myself. And otherwise, I'm obviously ready to give all the money back when it doesn't go ahead.
Well, I definitely think it's a very worthwhile cause. Worthy.
Yeah, you want to pause? You can't remember the video. They're saying it's a worthwhile cause, but I want to say it live as well. I personally think that this is very valuable. I've talked to some people, with more expertise on the British law, and I think it's, from my perspective as an American, in America, it would be a very good case. It'd be very strong. They said that might not be the case in the UK, but at minimum, I think it's definitely worthwhile.
I thought it was easier to prove this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I've heard
that all along, that it's significantly easier to, like, because they don't have. The United States is more obsessed with freedom of speech, so they're more inclined to give people some leeway if you're running your mouth about someone, whereas the UK is more strict on what you're allowed to say and therefore easier to sue people over stuff. So guys, get the idea here. The idea here is she tried to deal with it behind the scenes. That didn't work. Then she decided to expose it when they backed out of their deal that would have at least informed Muslim women not to fall for what these guys are trying to do. So they backed out of that, and then so she made it public with the help of Behind Veils, and she thought, oh, okay, now the Muslim community and the scholars and stuff will deal with this. They did not. They're still going about this as if nothing has changed, and so now she's talking to Thaddeus and pursuing legal means of actually suing him. And I don't know exactly what the laws there are, but I mean, I would assume you can't fake an AI confession from someone and then post it all over the place, or Photoshop a screenshot and then use this to discredit someone and lie and say, no, I was never married to this person, and then blackmail someone into defending you and stuff. I would assume that a bunch of this stuff is just flat out illegal or open to some sort of civil case in the UK. I mean, obviously it's got to be, right?
Yeah, I got to think so. I mean, from my understanding of the law, she probably would have an easier case in the UK, but I think people's concern comes from one of two areas. One, they kind of are thinking of, two-tier justice in Great Britain where Muslims aren't held accountable, but that doesn't really matter because she's also a Muslim, right? So I don't think that would be against her in this particular case. Now, if a Muslim had defamed some random white guy, maybe that could enter into the equation, but that's not the case here. So I think that's probably irrelevant. And the other thing I think people are concerned is that she might be able to win, but then she wouldn't really get any damages. And I think that she wouldn't care, right? So,
I have to say, I wouldn't care. I mean, I'd like to see him be forced to pay her for what he has done, like lying about her and, again, fake AI confession, all this stuff, like basically destroying her reputation in the Muslim community. You'd like to see him have to pay for that. But at the very least, if he is just condemned as a liar by a court, and that this can then be used to point out, hey, look, guys, we know he's lying, and so we need to do something about this, especially if the rest of the Ummah wants to look in the other direction.
Yep.
Seems like that is very, very worthwhile to pursue.
Yeah, I think so. So even if she didn't get a huge financial settlement out of the judgment or whatever, I don't think that she would care. She's not motivated by money. I mean, Hijab, I'm pretty sure, offered her money to keep silent. So if she was just after money, that wouldn't be a big deal. But what she is interested in is what would definitely be provided by a lawsuit, and that's discovery, where Hijab's records are opened up to her and anything that he has kept. And we know he's keeping all kinds of records, right? So anything that he has that's relevant to the case, he'd be forced to hand over by law. She says it would depend on the cooperation of people. Well, that's not really true, because if the court compels you to participate, then your failure to cooperate leads to jail time. So I don't think that, this is all that dependent on people being cooperative or anything like that. I think it's worthwhile to at least raise enough funds to take it to a lawyer and see what the case would be and pursue it. If it doesn't end up in a large judgment, I don't think that Aisha would care. And I personally wouldn't care if it was me involved, because it's about getting justice. It's not about getting some financial settlement.
Yeah, the main purpose of the lawsuit would be a court confirming she was speaking the truth and he was lying. Because there are still people who will think she's a liar in all of this, just because they're mindlessly going. And you've still got people, but we've got the confession, we've got the video confession. There are still people who are stupid enough to fall for that. It would be very helpful if all of that is exposed as deceptive in court and so on. So for the damage that has been done to her, a legal, this legal route would help that. And then you would hope that would lead to some serious introspection in the Muslim community. How in the blue hell are we claiming that it's okay to treat women like prostitutes and to lock them into that position and to blackmail people for trying to expose? Like, you got to deal with that, guys. You got to deal with that.
Yeah, and I'll just say one more thing on that who knows what will be revealed in his records, right? Because anything that would be relevant is subject to the court record. So his attempts to blackmail other people could be revealed, right? Because that would definitely be relevant to establishing the character of the guy and whether he is the kind of guy who would defame you on purpose. Other secret relationships could be real. All kinds of things could potentially be revealed in a lawsuit. And so I'm more enthusiastic about it than Aisha is, right? She just wants Mohammed Hijab to apologize and people call him out for a false teacher. I mean, I think he should be destroyed. Legally speaking, I think he should be destroyed. I think his finances should be wrecked. And I think that this is a very valuable pursuit. And thus, I'm all in on supporting the fundraiser. I mean, a lot of people have been skeptical and critical of it, and that's fine. I'm not telling anyone else what to do, but in my opinion, this is the best thing that we could do to actually help her get some justice.
Guys, we still got a few more minutes left of this interview, but Thaddeus has pointed out there is a way, there is something we can do. So if you guys wanted to help Aisha, she said she's crowdfunding a lawsuit so she can take hijab to court. One of the other things that would that this would help with is, again, I was mentioning it earlier. If all you're listening to is hijab and you're not watching all the behind veils videos, it would be easy. It would be pretty easy to fall for this. So I'm guessing that Mohammed Hijab with his, main wife is saying, nope, all this has been exposed. She's been exposed as a liar. We've got an AI confession. She admits that it was all a lie. So don't worry about it, baby. I'm completely faithful to you. And I'm honoring our agreement not to get in any more secret marriages, like I told you before. Him actually having to go to court and answer all this stuff, that would probably expose him to anyone who's been continuing to fall for his lies. And so, guys, there is a way that you can help Sister Aisha and show her support. Again, whether you agree with her on anything else or not, this is a woman who basically took her stand against some pretty overwhelming odds. She knew what was coming after her, and she decided to go through it anyway to try and expose this and show women what's going on so that they don't fall for it. These are all, regardless of your perspective, very worthwhile, noble goals. And so there is a link to the fundraiser in the description box. She's just crowdfunding her legal costs to actually take him to court. Lawyers cost money. Matter of fact, let me put what she said in there. So this is the GoFundMe. She said, I'm seeking financial support to take legal action against those responsible for causing me mental, sexual, and spiritual trauma. I had to use all my savings to move away from the area and provide for my child's care. So once she spoke out publicly against Mohammed Hijab, she had a target on her back, and she wisely got out of that area. But that cost her everything she had. She says, your contribution will help me cover the costs of legal proceedings and ensure transparency throughout the process. Your support is invaluable to me as I strive to heal and move forward. Thank you for considering my campaign. I will publish the receipts and will make sure adequate justice is served on behalf of all women and children affected by these heinous crimes. So she said she's going to provide receipts from everything. So, guys, this seems like, let me put it this way. Throughout this entire thing that's been going on for months, have we ever seen any indication that Aisha's lying about any of this? I haven't. Have we seen plenty of evidence that Mohammed Hijab, Ali Dawah, all these guys are lying? Yes, tons and tons and tons. We know
Mohammed Hijab? He would never lie, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's such a good guy, such an awesome guy. So, guys, my point here is, when Aisha says that she's raising funds for a lawsuit and that she's going to provide receipts, we have zero reason not to trust Aisha in any of that. We have zero reason not to trust her. She is consistently demonstrated that she is the trustworthy one in all of this. So there's a link to a GoFundMe. She wants to raise the money to carry out a lawsuit, or at least to see if there is a worthwhile lawsuit here to hold him accountable. So that is a worthwhile goal. I would invite anyone who is able to support that financially to do that, to click on that link and help her out. All right, let's see what Thaddeus has left here in this interview.
Financial support. Hijab needs to be held accountable. What he did is completely unacceptable and not something that any of us should be tolerating. If he's unwilling to admit his guilt, if he's unwilling to apologize and try to make amends, and if the Islamic Sharia system, as well as the scholars and authority figures, are unwilling to come out and say anything against him and hold him accountable, then I would say that civil justice is a must. I would also say that I think you have an extremely strong case and are very likely to win a judgment against hijab. In his attempts to defend himself, he has escalated things and made very inflammatory statements about your mental health, calling you crazy. And these are the kinds of claims that can be severely damaging to one's reputation when someone in a position of authority like Mohammed Hijab says that you're crazy. A lot of people are going to see you that way, regardless of anything else. And thus you have a very strong case against him. Hijab needs to be punished, both for his original actions and for the escalation that has happened since this became a public matter. I personally support the fundraiser. I've donated myself, and I put a link to that in the video description, as well as in a pinned comment for those who would like to do the same. So Mohammed Hijab needs to be held personally accountable. But in addition to his person, there's also the matter of his teachings. Mohammed Hijab has made a number of claims about marriage that many Muslims, yourself included, would find offensive and contrary to the true teachings of Islam. There's a modest-sized Muslim channel called Knowledge North that recently did a video critiquing Mohammed Hijab's teachings about mishar marriage and related issues. In that video, they argue that hijab has badly misrepresented what Islam teaches. Would you be interested in joining me to analyze some clips from that video?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm more than interested. I think that was a very good material, and it does cover a lot of information.
Excellent. We'll get that scheduled real soon and have you on the channel again to discuss the teachings of Mohammed Hijab. For today, what would you say to all those watching? What should they think about this situation?
So to the Muslim audience, I would like to say that I have done my own evaluation of my own faith, similar to how Mohammed Hijab has done, and similar to how Ali Dawah did, and Sheikh Muhammad Tarawna did. Each and every one of them evaluated their own circumstances and situation and allowed themselves to do whatever they have allowed themselves to do. I have today decided to come for good cause, not harming absolutely anyone, coming together with the Christian community in common grounds with respect that I do appreciate that has been shown. I personally endorse and subscribe and encourage there to be mutual respect in between both groups advocating for both faiths, Christianity and Islam. This is unfortunately something that we don't see in our own du'at sometimes. They do mock other faiths and other ideologies and other worldviews in a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't like, basically. And I have decided and realized that it is a must for me to come out and provide my own statements in my own words. I am here trying my best to raise my voice one more time after the great work Brother Salman has done. And I'm calling our scholars and shuyukh and asking them to please come out and correct what Mohammed Hijab has preached, because he is in a position of authority. I am here from your own platform, and thank you for this, trying my best to defend my own religion. I'm trying to defend Islam, Allah, the Prophet, and Islam, according to my own understanding, and the understanding that I believe is the correct one. I am here to defend the honor of women and children that have been violated and deceived and abused. And I do thank the Christian community for their support, for seeing the evidence and supporting what is right.
Thanks again for doing this interview today and providing your perspective. I'll add that from my perspective as a Christian, it's part of my responsibility to fight for justice, to fight for people who have been wronged, whether they are Christians or not. And Aisha has not received justice. She has not received what she is owed as a human being worthy of respect, of intrinsic value, dearly loved by God. And thus I'm motivated to continue to fight for that justice that she deserves. Mohammed Hijab has largely avoided consequences for his actions, shielded by his pathetic friends and those too cowardly to stand up for what's right. And thus I will continue to encourage all of those watching, whether Christians, Muslims, or otherwise, to fight for the truth and against abusers like Mohammed Hijab, to advocate for social justice for all, We'll have Aisha back real soon to talk about the teachings of Mohammed Hijab and how they relate to Islam. In the meantime, I encourage you to support her however you can. Share this video with others, and if you're able to contribute financially, again, the fundraiser is linked in the video description. For those who are Christians, I also encourage you to be praying for Aisha as she continues to fight for what is right.
Thank you so much.
God bless, and we'll see you again soon.
Well, also have the link to Thaddeus's video there. It's under 30 minutes for anyone who wants to share that, spread that around. Very easy to click the little share button and share that, or you can share it on X or anywhere else you got. But yep, be sure to share that. And so what else? What else do I have in the description box here? Let's see. I've got the link to the fundraiser, the GoFundMe. That is, again, because Aisha would like to sue Hijab until he is forced to correct what he's done. Got a link to Thaddeus's interview. Then I got a link to the Behind Veils video. And then we have a link to the conference, the Apologetics conference taking place later this month, where AP, what are you going to be singing there? Is it your Islamic Dilemma song?
I think so, yeah.
You don't know what you're going to be singing in front of an entire group of people?
I didn't even know that I am singing.
You can sing. You literally posted a promo thing. Would you like to hear me sing?
I said it because Al asked me to say that,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I said it.
Al said, "Hey AP, would you like to hear me sing?" Yeah, it's a pretty tough call, man, because apologetics wise, it's a Christian apologetics conference, and your Islamic Dilemma reggae song would be most relevant. But as far as like just getting a crowd hyped up, the Zabiba song is probably your finest chorus.
Oh, I'll probably ask El. In fact, El, if you're watching right now, I think regardless of what I'm singing, we should play the Zabiba song at the beginning of the, of the conference, or at least at some point.
That is a good idea, especially if you haven't even released it publicly yet. You could have the world premiere of the Zabiba song. Hey, El, you could advertise the world premiere of AP's Zabiba song. Zabiba, Zabiba, I got a big Zabiba. That is definitely a banger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take these last few super chats here. Isa Kabir, hey, Isa says, lives are at stake, giving voice to the voiceless. Yes.
Powerful.
Important time. And Isa says, this is sex trafficking. That's really what this is. It does have some Andrew Tate vibes to the entire thing. Indeed.
It sounds like the Loverboy method in a way, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it's just you're just adding a step to the Loverboy method, where okay, we do this little marriage, this little we'll do this little Zoom marriage. Apart from that, it's straight up Loverboy method. Why do you have doubts, woman? What doubts? That is a good question.
Good point.
Hell knows no fury like a hotel wife scorned. Yes, this is. I mean, that's true. Hijab's like, oh, so I'm just going to have this woman as my hotel wife. And then he ends up ticking her off. And then she gives him multiple chances over years to do anything right. And he refuses. And it looks for a while like they've actually got a plan where Mohammed Hijab won't be exposed, but she'll get what she wants and inform women about this. And then they backed out of the deal. And so you get what you deserve. You get what you deserve, Hijab. Pixel Faker says, I like this show. Just need to know its start time. Is it the same every day? No, we don't do the show every day. We normally start at 8 p.m. Eastern time when we go live, but that can vary because sometimes we have guests from the UK on with us. So can be at plenty of other times depending on who's on with us. Normally 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time is when we go live. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on anything?
I would say that the only thing that that is needed here is to create a hijab system like the Dennis system for Mohammed Hijab, and I might have already come up with one. So that's it. And
You need to do that as a scripted video.
You got the
You haven't done
letters?
any scripted in a while. You need to do it as a standalone scripted video.
AP doesn't script videos. He does everything off the top of his head.
Yes,
I know. He hasn't done one in a while, but he needs to. That's what I'm saying.
I actually, I have a teleprompter here that I got because of David, and I just put my script on "Do Muslims and Christians worship the same God?" script on here, waiting to be recorded. Still haven't recorded it though.
Well, quit being a loser and post it, and that will be the decisive refutation to the Catholic Islamic alliance that's been going on. And so it will be the ultimate showdown between the Eastern Orthodox Protestant Brotherhood Alliance for Truth and Goodness and the Catholic Islamic Alliance for worshiping Allah.
It will be the ultimate video to bring all Christians together and say, "Nay, we do not worship the same God."
Very powerful. So what did you decide hijab stands for, if you have the hijab system?
I have different options here, but for example, wait a minute, where did it go? Highlight holiness, initiate intimacy, justify secrecy, acquire access, then break and bounce. Or
that's not bad.
Hype himself up, isolate religiously, justify nikah, affirm commitment, bounce.
Bounce.
Or
that's actually
or highlight holiness. Highlight holiness, initiate intimacy, justify isolation, abandon responsibilities, bury and bail, or something like that. I don't know. Still working on it.
It's funny. It actually, with the letters, it actually does help you remember it. Like I haven't seen the Dennis system in years, but I kind of remember several of the letters. I think the D was demonstrate worth or value or something like that. Demonstrate.
It's demonstrate value, engage physically.
Hang on. Seeing if I remember. DEN. Is that neglect? Wasn't there a neglect?
Yeah, first nurture dependence, then neglect emotionally.
And then I think the S is separate entirely or something like that, right?
Yeah.
What's the I?
Inspire hope.
Oh yeah, that's when
it's the most messed up part. It's like inspire hope.
That was the real. Yeah. It's so. Notice step 2 is already engaged physically, Thaddeus, and then you have the nurture dependence, and then neglect, and then she's all traumatized. But then you come back like there's been a breakthrough, and yes, you're the one for me. And then she's all in love, and then you just separate. You separate, and then she's obsessed with you for the rest of her life. It's extremely messed up, but yep, that is. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, hijab might have been inspired by that. I don't know. I definitely like bounce for the B though. I think that's the better of the two options there. Might have a double meaning if you're talking about hijab. I don't know.
Yeah. And then Bo Rudder here pointed out that with Thaddeus's inability to pronounce H, weird things that we've been talking about, which make perfect sense if you can pronounce an H, would be very bad if Thaddeus were the one saying them.
No, I think it's just with the U. So heinous crimes there. So I don't think anyone's gonna say that's pronounced weird. I think it's just the U. For some reason, I dropped the H when it's followed by a U.
All right.
Huge.
All right, guys.
Wait.
What?
I just found out earlier. I even texted you, David, about it. But so I just found out that I have been put on the speakers list for this weekend. There is a huge event where there will be. They expect like 5,000 people or so to turn up for Turning Point USA in Tampa, and So Charlie Kirk said that he wants me to be there, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come do whatever, yeah. And then they sent me a list today, and they directly put me on a speakers list. So every speaker just has like 12 minutes or something, but I'm supposed to be on stage and speak for 12 minutes to a bunch of conservatives in Tampa, Florida, this coming Saturday. And
hey, but aren't you just like 2 people before Matt Gaetz?
Yeah.
Wow. That's super duper.
We just made fun of him brutally, but so they sent me the speakers list and times and all that, and it seems that I'm speaking just like 2 speakers before Matt Gaetz. I'm speaking. I will probably be sitting with him in the same like green room or something.
Hey, you're right
waiting.
before Jillian Michaels, man.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is, but
isn't she she's the fitness chick from like the 90s, right?
I believe so, yes.
What do you mean you believe so?
Jillian. That's what my wife told me. I have no idea what it is.
Oh, she said this. Your wife said the same thing. She's a fitness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was all over TV back in the day, man.
Yeah.
Who else? Wow, you got quite the lineup here, man.
I know, man. It's gonna be huge.
Wow. Hey, Riley Gaines. I like her.
She's gonna be there.
Let's see.
Brett Cooper, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. All right, so we go say, but we'll play report. We'll play, isn't it?
I'm thinking of just going up to Russell Brand and having a conversation with him just for fun, you know.
Yeah, so we will see when we got a problem here with the imperialistic dominant. We'll see that's been using to be subjugating us all of a society. What
Steve
the heck are you saying, man?
Christy Noem. And then Donald Trump Jr. will be there the day before.
A dream within a dream. You could actually like say hi to him. Okay, Riley Gaines. I like.
I'm most excited about Tucker Carlson. I just want to go in and be,
Tucker, I'm your biggest fan. Wow.
Oh my goodness, Tucker.
I agree with everything you say. Wow. And your whole thing about Iran, it was awesome. I love the Islamic Republic of Iran. Wow.
Hey, that Tom Homan dude. I'd be significantly nicer if I were in charge of the border. But that dude's like quick and smart. Every single reporter I've ever seen go up to him is trying to get him in a gotcha moment. And every single time he freaking burns them up. Like brutal fashion.
He's there. That's fine. I didn't know.
Let's see. Roger Stone. Hey, Rob Schneider. I like that dude, man.
Who?
Rob Schneider, man. From Saturday Night Live back in the day.
What I find so funny is that for everyone they just put their names up there, like a whole list of very important names. And then in the middle is me, Ridvan Aydemir, in parentheses, Apostate Prophet.
Ridvan Aydemir, the Apostate Prophet. The Apostate Prophet. So, hey, anyone going to that? It seems like
it's going to be huge. There are going to be lots of people there. It's kind of like a students' event, but I mean, Pete Hegseth is going to be there. Lots of very important people are going to be there. So it's going to be big, going to be very, very big. I might not have like the same opportunity with other events with like, you know, meet and greet everyone there and all that. But it's a huge event, and it's going to be videotaped. I'll probably publish it on my own channel after it's done. I have to prepare a good speech for that. It's a good opportunity. I mean, shout out to Matt Fradd. You know, thanks to Matt Fradd. It's Pints with Aquinas, Matt Fradd. The episode with him went out, and a few days after, Charlie Kirk sends me a message and says, "Hey, I just watched you on Pints with Aquinas, and I really want to talk to you." I was like, "Oh, awesome!" So that's what started everything. And now he wants me to speak about Islam to thousands of people at a conservative event, at a mainstream conservative event. So this is fantastic. Gonna make the best of it.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to worship Tucker and see AP speak all at the same thing, you can do that. Allie here gets it. Making copies. It's before your time, AP. You weren't even born yet, but Rob Schneider used to play this character in this sketch on Saturday Night Live, where he's just a guy in the office, but he sits beside the copy machine. His desk is, and people come over, and he just messes. He just twists their names, not in a mean way. Like if your name is Steve and you walk up, he goes, Steve, the Stevenator, Steve-o, Stevie Washenheimer and stuff. He just, but that was the whole sketch. That was a whole sketch of everyone getting annoyed that he just plays with their names like that. And that's what made him funny. That's what made him funny. And then they gave him multiple movie deals after that. Next time, AP will be sitting next to Bill Gates. Yeah, people are calling you, where'd it go? The conservate prophet.
Powerful.
And
I will share more on this tomorrow. They will send me graphs and stuff, so graphics and stuff.
And then we've got, if D Wood gave you a contract, would you take it, AP? What?
Yes.
Contract. Be awesome. All right, everyone. So that's what's going on for anyone who's a super dork and goes to this big conference for young people to worship Tucker Carlson later this week. If you're going there, you can see AP and be based. Everyone else, be sure, if you can, to support Aisha's fundraiser. This is a just cause. This is a just cause, and hope she's completely victorious. All right, be sure to follow Thaddeus as he continues to work on stuff. So check out his channel, and we will catch y'all next time.